Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for day 3 of this Ashes Test match between Australia and England. Now, Australia probably having the better of day 2, getting a few hundred runs on the board, and also seeing some magnificent batting from Usman Khawaja. He's had to dig deep here, 126 not out off 279. One of the big talking points of yesterday was that Stuart Broad no ball that could have had Khawaja on his way. Also, a drop catch from Bairstow a bit later on. England, they need to be a little bit more clinical today, try and clean up the rest of these Australian wickets, and then maybe set themselves I'd say a 300 plus run total. They'll be happy enough with heading into the last day of the Ashes. Because, of course, we've still got another 3 days remaining. That is the beauty of the way that England score their runs, is everyone's left with plenty more time to be able to decide how they want this test match to progress. Looks like a reasonably overcast day, which means we might get to see a little bit of swing. The ball's still only 14 overs old, so could be a bit of it in there. And hey, do you like the song? Says Brad, it was a decent song that I did hear. Thought for a second there, Erasmus was calling another no ball, but it is just to stop the bowler from running through. I believe it's going to be Jimmy Anderson to bowl the first ball of the new day. The sirens are sounding in the background. That does not sound ideal. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this one goes for the third day. Early wickets here in this session for England. If they get it right, they could clean up the Australian tail after these two batsmen within this first 30 or so overs. But first, they need to dismiss both of these two. Carey batting beautifully, 52 runs. Jimmy Anderson, first ball of the day, and Khawaja whips it to the leg side for the single. It was a stage where the Australians, they weren't really scoring at a huge run rate. And slowly, as the batsmen have become more set, Travis Head came to the crease, of course, got himself his relatively quick 550. And that helped progress for the Aussies as well. Cam Green also having a decent amount of runs on the board, 38 for himself. Currently, the Australians trailing by 81 runs. And I says Patrick Brady, welcome in, mate. You are doing very well. Seeing 2 wickets from Stuart Broad, 2 wickets from Moeen Ali. Of course, the big wicket, Steve Smith, LBW by Ben Stokes. Still 2 catching men on the leg side. Cutting a little bit back into Alex Carey for the first ball that he has faced of the day. Anderson actually yet to get himself a wicket. He is sitting with an economy rate of around that 2 runs per over. Stuart Broad, I don't think it will be too long till we get to see the ball in his hands. Same with Moeen Ali, a little bit of spin perhaps in the near future. After that ball gets that little bit older, it was actually quite early that Nathan Lyon came into the bowling attack for the Australians. I think big things are working on you and me and Distracted Sports. Hope we can do an interview one day. There's Brandon there. I know he is a busy bloke. I was trying to get him on possibly for some of that All Blacks reaction a little bit earlier on. But yeah, he did have the fatherly duties to take care of. Our English winning it. Says Connor, at the moment, you would have to say Australia probably actually favourites to take out this test match due to the fact that they do only trail by the 81, although the beauty of test match cricket is 1 wicket or 1 big knock from a batsman can completely change pretty much the outcome of a game. So if Alex Carey and Khawaja are gone within this session, all of a sudden England will become maybe more of the favourites. But Jimmy Anderson, that was a big swing from Alex Carey. Was there an inside edge? They're saying maybe. Bairstow, did he drop that one? It looks like the way that he's reacting, he's either almost dropped it because it's been just in front of him. Oh, there was the inside edge. And it did carry for Johnny Bairstow. So a drop catch on the 4th ball of the day. Not ideal for the English. It would have been a tough chance because of that inside edge. Bairstow, not looking happy with that one. The 3rd catch that he's missed, they've just said. Catches win matches. That is the old school saying that you say when you're about 10 when you are out on the field. That's the best sledge that they come up with. Catches wins matches. On his toes and off he goes is another one. And Age never asked me. I was out. I said, there's Brandon there. Big inside edge. Huge inside edge from Alex Carey. Almost, I don't know what he was considering for his shot choice. He was just absolutely going for it. Trying to get it out through cover. Australia might win this first test match of cricket, says Patrick. Also, we have got Hello All says Heads up, Lays. Work to the leg side from Carey. That will be the end of the first over. Really quite eventful for the first over of day three. 312 for five. So we've already seen a couple Bairstow catches. Here we are. Seeing the miss stumping from Bairstow's second ball to Cameron Green before he got his 38. Then there was the drop catch, the outside edge, Alex Carey at the half chance there. And then also the no ball from Stuart Broad. Unfortunately, he ended up getting him in a bit of trouble there. And then another half by chance that went through to the first slip region. Joe Root unable to take it. So Bairstow, he started this match with a hiss and a roar, but now it seems like gloves just aren't quite playing the game. OMG Petty. Here's Brandon. I keep forgetting. Says Pads ablaze. So are you one of those ones who have like your private account that you have everything in your watch later, and then your other account is where you have, I guess, where you're subscribed to? I'm a little bit the same if that is the case. Like I have one account that I don't think I'm really subscribed to too many, but I just have like 1,000 videos in the watch later that all slowly keep on building up until I forget about them. Moeen Ali is into the bowling attack here. They've said about maybe having a bit of a sore finger for him. Going to get to test the here, already bowling 29 overs, almost going for 5 runs and over though for Ali. So being a little bit more expensive than he would have liked. Outside off stump there, Usman Khawaja hits it straight to the man at short cover. I don't know what that account is. Here's Pads ablaze. So it's just kind of one that you've got through your, I guess, through your original email or something maybe. Second ball, Khawaja given a bit of width. Does try and glide it there through backward point. Well fielded by Stuart Broad though. Cut that ball off. 83 kilometres an hour. About 7 kilometres slower than what we saw Nathan Lyon bowling for that first innings. Perhaps trying to just get it to turn that little bit more. And I always just remember Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborhood. There's a Brandon there. I actually managed to download a game the other day on my Xbox, which was quite surprising because I never have space on my Xbox. So I don't know when I deleted a game, but I must have deleted one off the original hard drive. Oh, that one's turned nicely. Johnny Bairstow actually left it for first slip. So the way that that's happened, no, they've called it as buys again, 4 more runs for the Australians. I was going to say the way that Bairstow reacted, it was as if he was leaving it for the catching chance for Joe Root. Yeah, just went straight through the gloves. If I would have made it for random games something ages ago. There's Pads ablaze. Moeen Ali. 4 buys. Doesn't go against him, but there is some steep spin for a day 3 wicket. Going to the side of Stuart Broad. Taking the one to the man in the deep, which is Ben Duckett. Open the batting. Didn't get a huge amount of runs for himself. The best batsman for England, I have to say, was Joe Root, the way he was able to work his way to the 100. Khawaja, actually, my prediction to lose his wicket first out of the Australians, which seems pretty bad now with the prediction side of things, seeing as he's on 128. But they didn't take those early opportunities when they did arise. Stuart Broad got him out bowled. That was a long way into his innings, but still cannot afford to be bowling no balls to someone who is now set. Alex Carey pushes it that one a little bit outside of off stump, out towards cover point. Finishes the over with the single, and it is 318 for 5. You mean, how are we doing? There's Pads ablaze. 285 balls faced so far from Usman Khawaja. That has to take a lot of patience, a lot of determination. Doing Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborhood after Super Rugby, says Brandon. Has the game come out yet? Oh. Okay, so they're talking about Moeen Ali spraying the finger with some cold spray, and you're not actually allowed to do that. So I'm not sure what the outcome of that will be. Okay, he's going to be fined 25% of his match fee. Oh, well taken, almost by Ben Stokes there at short cover. Oh, I don't, never mind. Didn't see your message, don't worry. Pads ablaze. And what are you watching this on? It is on Spark Sport here in New Zealand. Stokes getting the hand to it and then just putting it down, although I believe it did bounce to him, so it wouldn't have been a catching attempt. Still managed to save a couple of runs. And why that's strange, says Nazi Williams. Are we talking about the why he's getting or why he's not allowed to spray his finger? Pretty much it's to do with foreign liquids on the ball, if that makes sense. I think it's the best way of describing it. And I want to say, hopefully, I've got that correct. But yeah, pretty much because he can put some cold spray on his finger. It's the same as what happens with like sunscreen and whatnot. How if you end up rubbing sunscreen on your hands and then you end up going out onto the field, touching the ball, it ends up making it a little bit shinier, which then allows the ball to swing a little bit more. So you're allowed to strap your finger and you're allowed to take your painkillers and everything along those lines. Off the outside edge, just wide of Joe Root. And that looks like it's going to race away for the 4 runs again here for Australia. But yeah, it's pretty much due to the liquid that it can create, and also the fact that it can be used as an extra grippy surface for you to be able to rip the ball. A little bit similar to what there was with the Australians and their rings a little while ago. Off the outside edge again. It started early here for the English. They've had a couple little chances. I like using sandpaper, says Pezza Blaze. In a certain way, yes, because it's like a foreign rub on the ball, like you could say. Partnership has hit 102 runs now from 179 balls. Now 180 balls. But Nazi, I'll ask you the question. In fact, I'll ask everyone in the chat while we are at it. Of course, we are predominantly rugby on the channel. Are we happy enough with the AB squad, or are there players that you feel should have been in there, players who you would have taken out? Do let me know. I know that Ian Foster was saying that there was actually a player who they decided to put in after the semi-final fixtures, and a player who got taken out after those semi-final fixtures. So I have a feeling it was probably a Blues loose forward who was taken out, and maybe Sama Penny Finau who was put in. The crowd well and truly getting behind the English side. Going to be out for 2 years? No, says Brandon. So I assume that's no, he doesn't like the squad. 71 runs at the moment. The Aussies do trail by. More than likely, they should be able to cut that down by the end of this session, as long as they don't lose too many wickets or slow down. I understand T20s. But how do you win a test match, says Trent? So I guess the easiest way of summarizing a test match is your goal is to bowl the other team out twice and have more runs on the board after doing so. So it's pretty much like a T20 doubled, except one team is allowed to bat longer as long as they don't lose those wickets. So pretty much both sides bat twice, or sometimes there's the declaration, which can make it a bit more awkward because sometimes a bat or team will only bat once. But ideally, it's you bat twice, whoever's coming out on top, like a T20, would end up winning the contest. And Akira Ioane, what about Akira Ioane? He is actually the one that they think might have been taken out because of his below par performance in the Crusaders game. But Ian Foster actually said that he messaged a couple of the players personally and just said why, and said kind of unlucky for not making the squad. You still got a chance to make it before the World Cup. And he said that a couple of the players just didn't reply to him. And I'm wondering if Akira Ioane is one of them who did so. And I'm thinking the other was probably Hoskins Atutu. And number 11, I forget him, 13 or the 12 shot from Usman Khawaja. He's got plenty on that one. Beautiful use of the feet, and that will be 6 runs down the ground from Usman Khawaja. Looking forward to the 2024. ABs and Scott Robinson says, Blues Nate there. And the only way to win a test match is to take more wickets than your opponent, says Grant. And all over, yes, I would have preferred, or I would have 2 people, Weber for Christie and Stevenson for Clark, says Padza Blaze. A lot of people, I think, are of that same opinion. What's your opinion on the AB squad, Hamish? It's a tricky one. There are some players that I think could have made it in that didn't, but I do like the fact that they've got 5 debutants, because at the end of the day, that at least shows that they're looking at the future and trying to get those young players who were informed throughout Super Rugby. They are now getting that chance. Oh, geez. That ball has been crunched down the ground for 6 and it's hit the concrete and kind of skidded. So Yeah, hasn't looked too great for the scuffage of the ball. And thanks for naming Samoan squad the Kiwi lad, says Blues Nate. It was actually quite funny. Me and Dad, we were watching UFC at the time. We were watching the latest UFC fight night. And then I was on my phone and I was like, oh, I haven't checked to see if the Samoans have announced their side yet because I've been looking for the past like 3 weeks, waiting to see when they would announce it. And then I was like to Dad, oh, it would be funny if they hadn't, or if they had announced it not too long ago. And then I looked and it was 2 minutes ago that they had announced it. So we got that video done. We then had that All Blacks live reaction stream, which was about 50 minutes. Straight after that, recorded the All Blacks squad video, put that up, then realized that they had also released the All Blacks 15 squad. So recorded that video. The recording didn't have audio the first time that I recorded it, so I had to re-record it, get it edited. I think I got it up at about 9:40, and then now we're here. So it's been a busy evening. I think I haven't had a single second where I haven't been editing. I was actually editing one-handed while eating tea. That's the extent that I got to. I name you early AB's 25 for the Argentina game, says Captain Tiger. We're actually going to be doing a video on that very soon on the channel, so I won't spoil it too much, but I think I'm going to go with a few little changes in there just to mix it up a bit. And Blues number 11 for the Blues, get him out. I want the number 9 for the Chiefs. Why are you not in there? Number 13 and number 12 for the Chiefs, get him out. And Cannoneer was a beast today. Izzy versus Cannoneer 2. So I assume he won then. That was unfortunately about 2 fights from where we had to stop. So I guess it was a spoiler, but I set it up for a spoiler, didn't I, Trent? So I completely forgive you for that one. But yeah, because Samoa announced their squad, we pretty much had to watch the fight we were on and then had to go straight into doing the announcements. I think we've released 3 videos. We've done a live stream, and now this is the second stream of the day. Meanwhile, also going fishing in the morning. That was a lot of fun. Ended up catching a lot of fish, which is good news. And true Hamish Nick Minute squad announcements all the week, so says Nate. But you always end up with technical difficulties on a day like this. That's the slightly annoying part, is the fact that like you record the video and you're like, yep, that was good. And then you start editing it and it doesn't have any audio. And you're like, oh no, got to film it again. And no surprise on Sam Kane, says Nuzzy Williams. Yeah, to be fair, like I feel like Foster at the helm was going to put Kane as his captain, wasn't he? The Australia squad is out. I don't think Australia have quite announced their one yet, but it must not be too far away. What does Sean Stevenson have to do to get a spot? Going to be any injury cover? Irish says the straight to sports. No, I'm in agreement for that one. I can't find a nice way around it. It's like, it's pretty much saying, hey, we're going to almost say you're in the team, but really you're not until another bloke gets injured. So it's like, why don't you just name? I mean, that's the thing. That's taken away his chance of being in the All Blacks 15 for the games up against Japan a little bit, because he's going to be slightly training with the squad. Mark Delia, I think his injury's for 3 weeks. That's 3 weeks that he could have been with the kind of more AB's 15 role. It's just weird. He's going to be Peter Feta 2.0, I think. And like someone said, the Dolphins were asking if he wanted to come play, so maybe he will in the future. Moeen Ali has gone for a few. Oh, Peach, though. That one was spinning away nicely. That is the end of the 98th over. 330 for 5 now for the Australians, trailing by only the 63 runs. So slowly starting to cut down that deficit. Moeen Ali going for over the 100 runs. He is still going at about that, maybe 4.5 runs per over. I also saw your email, Tony, of what Mark sent you. That was an interesting one to receive from a friend, wasn't it? Because I slightly forgot about it. And then I looked and I was like, oh, I got an email from Tony. What has he got? And then it was that forwarded email from Mark. And yeah, it was interesting. And felt bad for Weber too. Thought Finley's son was lucky. I think very lucky, because that's the thing. Weber, he's going to end up in the AB's 15 again. And the way that the breakdown we're describing it, they said that they know what Weber can do and they want to test out these other players, and then they have Weber to fall back on. But it's a bit rough, isn't it? And hi, says Ethan. Welcome in, Ethan. Hope you are doing well, mate. Jimmy Anderson back into the bowling. He's already bowled 2 overs today. And Hamish, where's your dad today for the commentary? Well, he is sleeping. He's currently 10:19 p.m. and he has got a nice early morning start for work tomorrow. I have got the same, but I decided that I can probably afford to be slightly more sleep deprived than he can. So that's why you've just got me with my bloodshot eyes and my massive rings around the eyes. So what do you think about the AB's 15 squad? I think they'll go all right against Japan. And like they were saying as well, those players who step up in that Japan and Japan 15 game, maybe they can get themselves that little bit of a promotion. And yeah, Weber should have been, and I reckon, says Nate. And hope Roger Tuivasa-Sheck gets an early release to the Warriors for the rest of the year and chuck him into centre, says Nate. Nicely cut away by Alex Carey, finding the gap beautifully. That'll be another 4 runs. Sitting on 334 for 5. Trailing by 59. It's going to be cut down pretty quickly if they keep on going at about a boundary and over. Rugby Championship is different from the World Cup, says Coding. That is true. So pretty much Rugby Championship, it's also different from other years that the Rugby Championship has taken place because it's now only 1 round where you play all of the sides rather than playing them twice round. New Zealand's first game up against Argentina. And they've got South Africa. That's worked off the pads for Alex Carey. That's just a nice shot. That's another 4 runs. Jimmy Anderson getting it slightly wrong for those 2 balls in a row. And Carey with back-to-back boundaries. Putting him under pressure in true centre, says Nazi Williams. Do you like F1? I enjoy the concept of F1. It's just I've never quite had time to get into it, if that makes sense. Like one of the other Kiwi lads, Isaac, he loves his F1. Like he'll watch the late night like races and everything along those lines. But me, I always find it very hard to... Oh, someone's phone's ringing in the commentary boxes. Oh, no, I had music playing in the background earlier on. I just realised. Football 12 said hi. Welcome in, mate. Caramel Tim Tam, anyone? Says Nazi Williams. Oh, bold! Alex Carey cleaned up by Jimmy Anderson. That one came back in off the seam. Back-to-back boundaries. Then leads to the wicket, and the Aussies now find themselves 6 down. There we go, says Tony. And yes, says Timothy. Tony, out of curiosity, I expect a no, but I got a spare spot down in that corner if you are interested. Just saying. Alex Carey is so underrated. He scored crucial runs in the World Test Championship final as well. And now he has been dismissed. Unfortunately, not quite the best timing there. 99 balls faced, 66 runs. And he's going to be dismissed 21 minutes into this session. Broad getting fired up there by the looks of it. And go on, Tony, says Pets and Blows. And Godding says Nazi Williams. And Tim Tam, or Tim Tam. I think it's still trying to autocorrect, isn't it? I had a toffee pop earlier on. If any of you guys had the caramel sundae toffee pops, they are decent. I don't mind them. Or caramel sundae. What did I say? I think I actually said caramel sundae. But yeah, caramel sundae Tim Tams. They are very nice. I think I actually prefer... Oh, wait, no, not Tim Tams. Toffee pops. They're toffee pops. I actually think I prefer those toffee pops to the regular toffee pops. Only 55 runs. Now the captain, Pat Cummins, makes his way to the middle. He might expect a few relatively short balls every once in a while just to rough him up a bit, seeing as he has got his chest protector on. At number 8, average of 15.63. He's never really been known for his batting, Pat Cummins, but he can still do relatively decently when he needs to. Actually got himself a 50 up against India. Is this an inside edge again? Yeah, it was. In fact, it might have actually just hit the back pad. Where is your head tonight, Hamish? You are a bit lost, says Beds Ablaze. That is because I am extremely sleep deprived. Woke up nice and early this morning, headed away to go fishing. Was already going to be not getting enough sleep last night, but then I cut the sleep short so that I could go fishing. So I'm going to sleep for like 12 hours. Probably not tomorrow because I have to start work early, but the day after. Maybe I'll get to sleep for a little while, but then we got State of Origin the day after that, so I have to try and strategically plan it. Heading to the land of Nods shortly. Early morning, we'll definitely do a session or 2 throughout the series, though, says Tony. Should be fun. Of course, these PG Ash's live streams will become a little bit more PG-13 when the Tonester makes his way onto the field. I am sleep deprived. Alex Carey, last wicket. Now Pat Cummins facing off with Jimmy Anderson, the Sultan of Swing. It's up, says Amelia. Welcome in. The clapping from around the ground now. The English getting a nice early morning start. Short ball. It was an ugly one up underneath the armpit as well of Patrick Cummins. Have you ever mixed milk with Coke or beer and drink that shake? No. We have once put milk in a soda stream machine and made fizzy milk. That wasn't that nice because that was kind of like drinking fizzy cheese, which wasn't great. But then we also put the Coke can on the soda machine as well, and it kind of fizzed up a bit more. But then it actually kind of goes flat after a while. Now Anderson squares up Pat Cummins, but that is the last ball of his over and a successful one. He did go for 8 runs, but he did also manage to get himself that crucial wicket, gets the high five from Stuart Broad as well. Gonna work hard here, Jimmy Anderson, 40 years of age and still having to show the young ones how to do it. It's his first wicket of the Ashes, and I'm sure it is not going to be his last. Alex Carey disappointed to not be able to keep that one out. Milk with Coke or beer, WF, says Pads Ablaze. I know that if you have Coke with ice cream, it's actually quite a good combination. But if you have Coke with milk, normally it curdles. So you're going to be kind of drinking lumpy milk or like lumpy curdled cottage cheese-like milk. It's a lovely image for the head. England, says Blues Nate. Celebrations from the slip cordon. It feels very nice to drink it. Similarly, or we put ice cream in Coca-Cola. Wait, so you do it with milk as well, though, coating? It's quite bold. I guess if you knock all the lumps out of it, it'd be all right. Just going to get past the lumpy stage. Going to go wide. The fielder at short cover, so they do manage to rotate the strike, and now Pat Cummins will have the strike to Moeen Ali. Milk and beer, just Helena. Says Pads Ablaze, and vanilla ice cream and Coke equals ice cream spider. And be in the for days. Says Nuzzy Williams. Hello, sir. Australia lost 6 wickets. Captain Cummins in the crease. Khawaja and Cummins need to hope. And the Aussies to each England score 393. When are you going to finish the stream? Why? You're sick of me already, Captain Tiger. Only been going 28 minutes. I feel like that's almost a new record. No, it's probably after the first session, mainly because we got the early morning start at work tomorrow. Seemed like a good idea to do at least 1 session a day, though. That is going to be the aim. I'm hoping to do actually more than 1 session, probably either tomorrow or the night after. Played by Cummins again. And Sprite and vanilla ice cream, chirp. How about Fanta and vanilla ice cream, Nazi? You tried that? That's also very good. For vanilla ice cream with lemonade, because depending on how cold soft drink is, sometimes the soda will freeze a little. He played again off the back foot for Cummins. And this is an important partnership here because I assume that Stark will play the normal way that Stark plays, which is giving you about maybe 20 or so quick fire runs if he gets it right. If not, though, might end up with a few less on the board. Appreciate the stream from England, says Callum. Thank you very much, mate. Usually appreciate it. You being here for this one. In fact, we'll ask this to everyone in the chat. Who's the next wicket? Will it be Cummins dismissed? Wow, that's a big full toss from Moeen Ali. That was almost a no ball. Saying it might be the finger. If it wasn't the finger, though, you'd certainly be blaming it. Because that is very tall. Okay, relax. Just want to go to sleep. I want to keep watching. Says Captain Tiger. So Australia needs second innings. Oh, that was an edge from Pat Cummins. Going to be a very tough one for Bairstow to take. It was right round his bootlaces. And come on, 25 G's nearly there, Amish. Well deserved. As well, lots of hours put in. There's Nuzzy Williams there as well. Oh, you know, hit him in the shin. Johnny Bairstow wasn't quite going to get down to that one. Khawaja, says Ethan. I know that we have Sprite, though, in the fridge. So I think after this live stream, even though it will be like midnight, I think I'm going to end up having a Sprite. They still always offer that raspberry stuff in your lemonade in New Zealand. raspberry stuff in your lemonade? As in, like, just like raspberry flavored lemonade, or raspberry and Coke is a combination that people have at like a bar or a restaurant or something. You'd have a raspberry and Coke. Is that what you're meaning? How you get some like raspberry syrup type juice thing? The next three batsmen. Sorry, I was saying about Mitchell Stark. I'm on meth because he's not even in the team. It's Nathan Lyon, who I think I was trying to say, but my brain for some reason said Stark, Scott Boland, and then also Josh Hazlewood, the last three batsmen. Khawaja moving up to 136. I'm not sure what his highest runs are in England conditions. This is getting a long way towards it, though. And yeah, like the syrup says, Timothy. Yeah, so I think they still have that for the, I guess raspberry Coke's the thing, but I assume raspberry lemonade you could probably do as well with no worries at all. It's actually really hard in New Zealand to find a raspberry sundae. Fun fact. They've got strawberry, chocolate, vanilla, or caramel, but very, very hard to find a raspberry sundae. Find a berry sundae, but not just a raspberry one. I know that very well because my granddad absolutely loves raspberry sundaes. So what we were going to do for him until we found that he wasn't too phased with strawberry either, he decided that that would do quite nicely. But what we were going to do is get a whole heap of raspberries and try and mince them down into like a syrup for him, that he could have it on his ice cream. Be a single taken again by the Australians. What is your favourite ice cream flavour? I quite like, or I used to quite like something that was called Gold Rush, which was pretty much kind of like a caramel-ish flavoured, kind of caramel-ish flavour, but then it had toffee chunks in it. And it made me very happy. You're a raspberry sundae, says Straight to Sports. Is that because I'm very sweet, Tony, and you want to lick? No. It's because I always turn red, and red like a raspberry. And Cummins, to good chance together. Khawaja more score, says Naveen. Yeah, as long as Cummins can stay at the other end, they'll be able to keep on just ticking over those runs. And Cummins then bowled out for 436, Khawaja 202 for Captain Tiger. Looking just past the 100 over mark. And Goody Gumdrops. Goody Gumdrops is a very nice flavour as well. Although sometimes, depending on how frozen your ice cream is, I always find that the best Goody Gumdrops are the ones that are just that little bit hard, but then like not the ones that are pretty much like rocks in the ice cream. You know, you want ones that you can chew through easy there. Says Distracted Sports. Sorry, we're getting a bit carried away, aren't we, Tony, for a Sunday evening? It just made me think of that email that you got from Mark again. Stokes or hit, says Ethan. Yeah. Ooh. I mean, some would say Stokes because of the bowling aspect of things. Can we see your forehead? Says Kevin Toy. You should be able to. It's as wide as a 5 or 6 head, so it should be visible, I would say. And also, Oz is the best, says CR7. At the moment, they're slowly ticking on, trailing by 50 runs at the moment. Australia near 50-plus trail runs by the English, says Naveen. And a draw, says Relaxing Kiwi. Well, okay, so you're saying that England will try and set a total and Aussie won't be able to chase it down? Or are you saying that England will bat for a lot longer and then Aussie won't get the chance to chase it down, I guess? Well, that's the same thing, as in they just run out of time either way. The fact that we've already had over 700 runs in the first 2 and a bit days of Test match cricket. Very impressive. Nicely blocked there by Usman Khawaja again. That'll be the end of the over, 343 for 6. It's already the first 34 minutes of the session gone. Absolutely flying by. Do you enjoy fishing, Tony? Out of curiosity? I can't remember. I don't know whether or not you are one of the people who I've asked about the fishing and draw. A bit of rain as well, says Relaxing Kiwi. So yeah, that will end up playing into it a little bit more. I know that either way, people want this first test match to be close. Well, the impartial people want it to be close. Just so that the Ashes can continue in full swing for the second test, which is only just around the corner as well. I believe it starts on about the 24th or so. Yeah, about 24th of June, which is actually around the same time as we've got Super Rugby Pacific finals. We've got the Curry Cup final. Got a whole heap of stuff going on for the Kiwi lads in the near future. Will New Zealand hire McCullum after he... Whoa, that's a big shot from Cummins. He's got it for 6 runs. It's gone over the man in the deep. That is some brave batting from the skipper. Hits Moeen Ali for yet again another 6. After he's done with England for baseball and test series coding, probably not. Mainly because I feel like New Zealand wouldn't do baseball as well as England are doing baseball. So I don't know whether or not they want to change their tactic completely. Although we might see a few more sides start to take on that baseball style in the future because it has been effective. Cummins playing that one a little bit more responsibly. Trying to hit it out through the cover region. And Australia lost last series. Winning Australia 4-0. But 4th Sydney Test match draw. Johnny Bairstow, good fight back. Yeah, he was just an absolute star in that test, wasn't he? Down the ground. No run taken for Cummins. And at the moment, I believe they would want Cummins on strike. But after that last 6, you wouldn't be too sure whether or not he's the guy that you want out there. And Oz get a lead of 40 to 50 runs. You're going to force into the draw. Here's relaxing Kiwi. Moeen Ali. Big shot down the ground. Cummins has liked that one very much. That is a huge 6. And that is possibly going to scuff up that ball again, Joe Root. He's got a smile on his face, but that one must hurt a little bit. Why did England declare? Says Khawaja, they wanted that little patch of bowling at David Warner. And, I mean, to their credit, they got him relatively early on day 2, but I wonder whether or not they could have had a bit more of a bat first, got to about that maybe 450 run mark. It wouldn't have cost them too many extra overs and then sent the Aussies in. How far did Cummins hit that one? 25 metres high. Do we get to know how far it went? That seems like a useless stat. They just told us how high it got in the air, but they didn't tell us how far it went when it got there. Now, Cummins on strike at the moment. He has made Moeen Ali have a very expensive over, already sitting with, I believe it's 14 runs off this over so far for Moeen Ali. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do take him out of the bowling attack relatively soon. Played by Cummins again for the last ball of the over. 355 for 6. A very good over for the Australians. Now only trailing by 38 runs. Able to cut that one down quite nicely indeed. The fact that Moeen Ali has a finger injury as well. I know that it's not on purpose because at the end of the day, it's a bit unfortunate that it happened, but still makes you wonder whether he was the correct option for spin in this one. And Ali's so expensive, says Coding. It's a tough day being a spinner up against an Aussie side because more than likely, even if you pick up wickets, you're going to go for quite a few runs in the process. And it actually looks like he's going to go off their field now. Get that finger looked at. So if they want spin, they may have to go to either Joe Root or... What else have we got in there as spinning options? I guess maybe Crawley. Does he spin the ball? Robinson can actually bowl off spin. I remember that from one of the other matches. Nice cover drive from Khawaja. We'll just get the 1 run. So Cummins having a majority of the strikes since he has made his way to the crease, but he is sitting on 15 off 16 deliveries. I live on the Gold Coast. From Auckland, my brother lives in London. He is going to the second test. Is relaxing Kiwi. I remember that my cousin was going to be going to one of the test matches. It wasn't part of the Ashes, but they were going to be going to one of the test matches in England. And then the test match actually ended on day 3, and they were going to be going for day 4. I think it was day 4, and they were going to go for day 5 or something like that. So they actually ended up missing out completely. See, bowled by Anderson, keeping that one nice and straight. And with that little bit of seam movement that he has been able to get throughout the early stages of the day, That's that bat pad could be looking very good for an LBW chance, or maybe even sneaking straight through the gate. Joe Root just talking about that last six that we saw from Pat Cummins, talking about how far it went down the ground. It's going to be Anderson's 20th over, so the man has not been working lightly at all. I believe that Broad maybe not too far away, or Stokes. Stokes was able to get that breakthrough wicket of Steve Smith. I think about it strategically here, though, Stokes. Work out who the bowler is. The moment Anderson seems like the right choice, but he has bowled all of today so far. That one has gone through the gap, out through backward point. Chasing after that one, Harry Brook does just keep it to the 2 runs. You gone to casino today? No, we didn't actually go to the casino. That was a joke. We went fishing, though, and you'd have to say we kind of struck the jackpot in where we went. In a weird way, it was, I feel like we had the GoPro on, so it will make more sense if I ever release that footage, but it was crazy what we saw down there in terms of the amount of fish in one area. And unless you see like the video or the like pictures of it, you wouldn't really believe me if I told you. If that makes sense. Now Cummins squared up a little bit there. Got himself another single there, Paddy Cummins. Khawaja 12 away from the 150. Cummins 12 away from his 30. I went to all days of the Boxing Day test because Black Cats versus Oz 2019 says relaxing Kiwi. We may have walked past each other because I was there for day 1. I think it was the only day I ended up going to. Or maybe, did I go day? No, I think it was just day 1 that we ended up going to. Although, to be fair, there were about 85,000 other people, so you may not have seen me amongst the ground. I don't even know if I ended up on the TV for that one. I don't think I had any big reactions, so probably not. Try from Khawaja, goes straight to Crawley, who's fielding in close. It's 300 balls faced for Khawaja. He hasn't been in a huge hurry here. Just willing to keep that good ball out, go after the bad ball. Day 1 was a good day. Says relaxing Kiwi. Yeah, the eruption when Trent Bolt got that early wicket, I was pretty insane. One ball left. I don't think Khawaja will be trying too hard to hit this one away to the boundary. No, just ends up blocking it. Into the over, 359 for 6. So I would say by the end of the session, we are going to see some sort of lead for the Australians. It's just more of a question of how many runs will they be ahead. And I assume we will also see England bat at some point today. Not too sure when that will be. If these two can get, a 50 or 100 run partnership even, that would be hugely beneficial for the Aussies. And get a Mr. Anderson, and like the stream everyone in sub says, Captain Tiger. Yeah, the man, if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be back tomorrow with some more of the Ashes action. Stuart Broad now back into the action. Going to be bowling to Pat Cummins. Did have the man out at the other end, Khawaja, but it was a no ball. Which meant that he did stay at the crease. I just shown the dismissal of Warner. Did end up chopping on the ball to his stumps, and then also, I believe he was able to get himself a second wicket, Stuart Broad, and it was minus the first ball. Now it's hit my memory box. And Hiranis has said, it is Aussie. Apparently they're doing pretty well. Obi-Wan Kenobi is Lord Vader's bumboy. His name. Interesting. Fun fact, I ended up downloading one of the Lego Star Wars games the other day because my mum, she used to love playing it on PlayStation 2. So I decided to download it onto the Xbox so that she could play it at some stage with me. We haven't actually played it yet, though. And hello, Lord Lady Boy. Here's Fluffy. Now, Pat Cummins on strike. Sitting almost with a strike rate of 100 throughout his first few balls. Do you agree the 2005 Ashes was the best one in terms of matches and players? Says Coding. I don't remember the 2005 Ashes. Unfortunately, that was probably about maybe 5 or so years before I started watching cricket. relatively regularly. In 2007, says Hieronymus. Am I saying that wrong? Hieronymus? Is it Hieronymus rather than Hieronymus? Hieronymus, maybe? Something like that. Hero. Go with that. Cummins works the single. Himself off strike easy enough. I think that Cummins and Khawaja, I don't know whether they just had that little conversation there, but Cummins was going, nah. So it's as if what I would think is Khawaja maybe asked whether or not either it was coming on to the bat or maybe if he was wanting the strike. Second pronounce was good. Hieronymus, wasn't it? I believe was the second one that I said. And Fluffy said he's a pro with Ladyboy. There's Nate, and he ain't heavy. He's a Khawaja. Fluffy. Right, they've got the two men out on the leg side, deep square leg, and also deep fine leg. Also a man kind of floating at a bit of a deep third man, but not quite, about a 3/4. A straight ball from Stuart Broad again. Kicked out by Khawaja. Probably disappointed not to have picked up that earlier wicket because you always wonder how different it could have been. Same with the start of this day. We saw that edge from Alex Carey. It didn't end up hurting them too badly. No, Sherlock says, oh, sitting on a lazy boy. Okay, I was confused for a second. It's getting pushed out to the man at point, which is Ben Stokes, who might end up having a bowl at some stage in the relatively near future. Trailing by 33 at the moment. And this is going to be a draw straight up, says Ferdinand. In question time, what did Brian Young do with the ball when he caught it every time, says Relaxing Kiwi? Celebrated. Players Carey's got a little coffee. After getting dismissed, brought steaming into the crease. Going round that wicket still, which is actually Khawaja's favoured angle, I will mention when it comes to English conditions. He does not like when the right-handers go over the wicket rather than round to him. He has a much lower average. They didn't really stick to that tactic of going across him for very long at all, though. Ended up switching it up. See if anyone can remember it. See the Relaxing Kiwi. Looks like a little bit of a field change here. They've taken away that deep third man. Instead, in fact, they're bringing in the field so that Pat Cummins has strike. I don't think Pat Cummins minds too much, though, having the strike. Played again by Khawaja. Put the ball in his pocket, says Mysterian. Bit of shining going on from Jimmy Anderson trying to get that ball to swing. It's currently 24 overs old. Got a huge amount. Yes, in the pocket. Says Relaxing Kiwi. See, you probably wouldn't be allowed to do that nowadays because then they'd consider you possibly match fixing. And also we have got Hamish, our wife, hinting at me to buy a new PC and claim it back on taxes. Says Blues Nate. Strategic. It's at the... It would go under next year's though, wouldn't it? If I'm not wrong, because I think the financial year recently ended. But she's thinking outside the box, Nate. You got to give her credit for that. Do you use your computer for work? I want me to ship it to the Kiwi lads. I mean, that would be way too generous, I would think. Like, you've given us KFC money. A whole PC is a different story, Nate. You know, it's like that we can't eat that. You know, it's like a big old box thing. As the one way to polish balls. Yeah, true. And also, Moen's fingers must be in pain, says Harris. And why is Anderson bowled 19.5 overs when Broad is bowling at the moment? Says Hieronymus. I would say it's possibly something to do with maybe Moeen Ali hurting his finger earlier on next year. Says Blues Nate. And Moeen has chances created though. Says Harris. I am actually, I know that this sounds bad time, but I am actually at the moment, I've got to decide whether or not I am going to get myself a phone, seeing as my phone's starting to give out, or whether I get a new PC first, because it's also starting to not work. Because like, this screen, for some reason, it doesn't like me. I can't put anything on it without the whole PC pretty much going. Pff. Disappearing. I know Hamish, daughter and wife looking at me weird. Says Blues Nate. Mm. They probably still look at you weird though when you've sent like money in the past, being like, "This is for KFC." Although George always his eyes light up when he sees that, don't they? And did Anderson finish Ali's over? Uh, no, I think he's up to the right amount now. Well, looks like I think it might have just been a glitch. Maybe they were a little bit slow. And who's a better chance of a double ton today? Double ton today? Khawaja or Moeen? I would say Khawaja only because Moeen Ali's no longer out there on the field. And I think he'll be probably trying his best to avoid going back out there because they keep on hitting him for sixes. So if am I on like your big screen, Nate, or on your PC or something, and the whole family's around? Hello, Nate's family. I don't think we've met, but hope you're all doing well. Nate's a decent bloke. There you go. That's my wingman done for the day. Although you don't really need a wingman, you've got your wife and your daughter already. I'm better off having you as my wingman, Nate, because I have neither of those two things. 12 runs away still for Khawaja from getting to that 1.5 century. Cummins sitting on 19 off 22 balls. They're trying to slow down his scoring, but haven't quite been able to do so. They can both get a double ton in the same over, says Horonius. How many balls were bowled in that Daryl Tuffy nightmare over? Didn't he reach like 13 or 14 or something? Where he just couldn't get the ball out of his hand to save himself? There's a fair few anyway. It took a long time to get through that over. Yet probably still quicker than some test matches get through their overs currently. Let's block again from Cummins. Wondering Bairstow. I don't think there's any injuries to his hands at the moment, but he has been a little bit rough in terms of the catching department for today. We've seen Stokes bowl 7 overs, Roots bowled 7. He's only actually been going for 3 runs per over. That might actually be a good idea to give him a crack at some stage soon if you want your spinner in there. Pat Cummins looking relatively comfortable though while playing. Australia trailing by 33, 14 ball over, says Mysteri on there. Harry Brook just practicing a little bit of his batting. He was one of the most unlucky batsmen in that first innings. The ball hit his thigh pad, went up in the air, came down, and then just rolled back onto the stumps. The bail was off. 0 for 15 without a ball officially being bowled, says Mysterion. Anderson, that one was coming back in just a little bit. Still looking safe. He's not a bad batsman. Still pretty strong. I remember that over, says Aronius. And someone's been watching old New Zealand cricketers on YouTube, says Fluffy. There's always those classic ones that pop up every once in a while. I'm sure my dad will remember a lot more of those older school moments than myself. I remember playing as Daryl Tuffy, though, on Cricket 04, I think it was, that we were playing. Way back in the day on PlayStation 2. That game used to be very good. Nicely timed from Pat Cummins. He'll actually get himself the 2 runs to close out the overs. That will frustrate England because they were hoping to have him on strike for the next one, and that is not quite how it has ended up going. And I watched all that live, says Relaxing Kiwi. Khawaja back on strike. Broad will be continuing. I'd like to see Broad go over the wicket, but then the problem is they've probably already allowed allowed Usman Khawaja get 2 into his innings, so he'll just whip everything off the pads if they get the line wrong. But I wouldn't mind the angle change up just to see if you can drift it across him. Lance Ken 6 sixes. Here's Oz and Melbourne, says Mysterion, and I'm 38, says Relaxing Kiwi. In there as well. First test taking place at Edgebaston, where you can see a Princess, Mario, and also that Mushroom Man. So that means that's Princess Peach. Is that Mario? What's the shroom called? The little mushroom. Toad, I think he's called, isn't he? Advancing down the wicket there for Khawaja. Stuart Broad trying to say that he was walking down the middle of the pitch. Stuart Broad had no problem whatsoever when his teammates were advancing all over the place. I don't think they're going to end up giving Khawaja any sort of warning for this after advancing. Playing the shot, taking one step, and then moving off to the side. Stuart Broad. You have to say at this stage, is that desperation or is that just the strategic veteran in him? Solid from Stuart Broad again. Nicely played by Khawaja. Didn't that watch that live? But Lance says relaxing Kiwi and Excalibur says fluffy there. 300 balls face for Khawaja. Hello, Hamish. I'm Blues Nate partner. I'm Chloe, and yes, in August Nate will send you a new PC. But like a PC is like too much money, I would think. Like in terms of a gift, like it's like those things cost a lot. So like I just like having Nate here. Hello, Chloe. Nice to meet you. Oh, ducking under that. Does Nate talk about pies off live stream? Because I know that on live stream we've talked about those pies that you can get over here. I won't even say the brand because I know that it will just make him hungry. But yeah, does he talk about the pies off stream? Also, does he? I was about to say, does he talk about my mangoes? But that kind of sounds dodgy. Does he talk about mangoes in general? And Robert Linda has a great channel for cricket highlights and other Hamish. And yes, he does. Says Blues Nate. Or Blues Nate's wife, I should say. Khawaja actually falling down there in the bouncer from Broad. To be fair, he's a smart man for talking about those pies because they are very good. When he heads to Auckland, I'm sure he will be in every single, well, not even just every single supermarket, every bakery that's got a pie over here. They say that the New Zealand pies are just a little bit better than the Australian pies, mainly because of the pastry. Something to do with the temperature and the humidity just doesn't quite allow that pastry to puff up the way that it does here in Kiwi land. I hope you're not a baker, Chloe, because or else then I've just very heavily offended you there. I got my fingers crossed, hoping that it's not the case. I was at the Cricket World Cup final, Melbourne, and semi Auckland, and quarters Wellington, says relaxing Kiwi. Oh, pull shot there from Khawaja. A little bit aggressive, but it does end up going to the fielder. Duck it. Are we unable to send Mango from Melbourne? Sorry, Harris says Nate. It's all right. I feel like at this stage, I'm just waiting for them to come back into season over here, and then we're straight down to the supermarket, and it will be a fantastic day. I had a mango popsicle earlier on today, though. That was actually one of the things I was eating while editing earlier on. I had a mango popsicle in one hand and my mouse in the other, and I was cutting through my All Blacks XV video. Dan Vittori catch on the boundary against the West Indies. I know you're okay, Hamish. Lovely to talk to you. Says Nate. Oh, sorry, I keep on saying says Nate. I'm so used to saying that, but says Chloe. You too? You've been enjoying the Ashes so far. Decent over from Stuart Broad to close it out. I think it was almost, was it a maiden? Might have been a maiden there. 362 for 6. Australia just continuing their batting ways. Khawaja was celebrating his 100. So were teammates and also those in attendance. He just threw the bat away when he got the 100. Usman Khawaja. And Big Ben Pies is a stupid low. It's fine. Says Nate or Chloe. I assume it's Chloe still. And Matthew Sinclair's catch on the boundary in Oz, says Mysterion. Still got Nathan Lyon, Scott Boland, and Josh Hazelwood. I mentioned about how I've got one in the freezer, but I think it's like 2 or 3 years old, so it might not be so good at the moment, sadly. Which is always sad. And Q time, where did Matthew Sinclair take that miracle catch? Answer says relaxing Kiwi. I feel like this is a case of two guys trying to show that their cricket knowledge is better. I'm quite enjoying this battle because I have no idea. I answered it, says Mysterion. Ollie Robinson into the attack now. The question is he bowling medium pace or is it going to be off spin? I think it's going to be medium pace though. And internet points on the line. No Googling, says Fluffy. And Crack, we asked the same question and Nate in the toilet. Yeah, now says Blue's name. Well, sorry, it says Chloe. See, it's just a reflex. My tongue just goes in that direction straight away. Now Robinson. Relatively straight. Cummins works him for a single, though. That is all he's got to do. Just rotate that strike. Keep it on the side of Usman Khawaja. Survived this first hour not too badly. Scored a few runs. He got himself that 6 early on. Cummins also getting himself a couple 6s from his time. You answer it before I asked it. Says relaxing Kiwi. What's the temperature like in Melbourne at the moment, Chloe? We're 9 degrees Celsius, which actually isn't too bad for this time of night. Although if it was about 2 a.m., I think it's supposed to get down to about 2 degrees. You guys, they always say Melbourne's weather's kind of similar to us, just a little tiny bit warmer. To the side. That was amazing timing, says relaxing Kiwi. Shot there from Khawaja, worked to the leg side for 1. It's gone over the head of Johnny Bairstow. Like England, just been a little bit slack in the field so far. Throughout the second half of the Aussie innings was the word that was coming out before the yawn got me. And Adelaide 952 in Brisbane, 1985-1986, says Mysterion. Pitched up. Cummins drives. Stokes manages to stop that one. Still have wet dreams about that, says Fluffy. Oh, should we do a guessing game, ladies and gentlemen? I'm wondering whether or not it's going to jinx him or not, but yes or no, does Khawaja get his 150? He's 11 away at the moment. Do let me know, yes or no, does he get there? Played by Cummins again. Just got to watch that variable bounce that this pitch has offered throughout the first couple of days. Balls now remaining of the Robinson over. No, says Mysterion. Erroneous has said yes. Yes, says Patrick. Okay, so currently we're 66% in favour of him getting that 150. Relatively straight delivery there. Cummins once again blocking. Yes, says a relaxing Kiwi. Okay, 75%. So that Khawaja will get there. Still got another 100. Oh, sorry, not 100. He's got another 11 runs. What's the prize, says Fluffy? Nothing. It's the fun of it. No prizes on the line. I'm just looking around. There's literally nothing around me that is like a prize. You know? I got a USB here, but I kind of need that. Like, yeah, I would say a USB, but I'm not going to. Oh, it's the drinks break. It was sad that Bond retired so early. Says Mysterion. And I have a completely unused ball signed by Bond. Says Horonius. Nice. I don't think I've got any gear signed by anyone. Not even just cricketers. Have I ever got someone's signature other than like on a document? I don't think so. I don't. A little bit, maybe. I think I got Ben Sigmund's signature, but it wasn't on purpose. Pretty much with our football team ages ago. This was after I finished my rugby prowess and I was in the goalkeeping department. They gave out a couple caps with like a Wellington Phoenix on it. And I think Ben Sigmund signed it, if I'm not wrong. So maybe that, but he might have just wrote his name on it rather than actually signing it. Bob was right, says Horonius. He was a left-arm bowler, wasn't he? And also, you are good, says relaxing Kiwi. And Murphy Sewer nationality, Samoan. You want you two know your stuff, or you three know your stuff, in fact. And then there's just me sitting here still playing with a USB that I forgot to put back on the table. Now, only another 56 minutes remaining of this session, ladies and gentlemen, trailing by 28, so they should chase that down. First 2020 bowl off was at what stadium, says Relaxing Kiwi? Yep, says Relaxing Kiwi there as well. Had to show on that dismissal of Alex Geary. Remember to hit that like button, everyone. Says Horonius. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty more Ashes coming up. We are going to be covering the Ashes tomorrow evening as well as the next night. We are going to have the Ashes, and then the night after that, we've got State of Origin. Plenty of action taking place in the very near future. 139 runs for Usman Khawaja. Just wanted to say, Wayne Kitty. There's Fluffy. Nathan Lyon, he's a decent batsman too, to be fair. I am curious, actually. We're going to bring up some information because we talked about would Usman Khawaja get that double, or sorry, that 150. I want to quickly look here because I want to see what the live odds are for him to be able to get there. Wow, that's interesting. They've actually got the TAB. They've got that you can pick the starting lineup for. Wait a minute. Do you have to actually? No. What happened? Go like this. Wow. That's a bold move from the TAB. So if you get the whole lineup right for the starting 15 of the ABs for their game up against Argentina, like they'll do a 7-leg multi that would get you like $1,000. Decent. But what we were looking for was the Ashes. And there it is. What do we got in the information department? Usman Khawaja total runs. No, that's for Australia. Where's the run scores? I just want to see if it thinks Usman Khawaja is getting 150. Usman Khawaja over. Geez, so Usman Khawaja to get over 165 runs at the moment is actually the favourite option. There you go. Chris Ken's bowled it. And also Eden Park says Mysterio on, and yes, says Relaxing Kiwi in Eden Park. Says Relaxing Kiwi in there. And it was bowling to Wally Hammond when he scored his first, or his world record, 336 at Eden Park and 19 whatever it was. Says Fluffy. Nicely played by Cummins, and Chris Harris got a famous ton against who and where, says Relaxing Kiwi. I don't know. Somewhere, wouldn't it though? Cummins moving up to 23. Imagine he gets himself a famous ton in this game up against the English. His high score previously was 63. Just as I say that, they're actually bringing up his record. His average is 16, so he's already above that. He's only had 250s in his career. And also we have got there. Oh, and also Bromy wife, she's an ego. Went to the toilet next minute, takes over my phone, says, no, it was nice to talk to her. She told me that you like the Big Ben pies. You know, and that is something I can respect. As you know, I am also a lover of Big Ben pies. Anyway, let's get it, England. Here's Blues, Nate. Now 23. This has slowed down a little bit in the last couple of overs. Oh, short ball there. Cummins ducks underneath it. So that maybe that is a little bit of frustration coming from Stuart Broad. Tail of Australia. It's going to be hanging for quite some time. Could end up getting themselves even maybe closer to that 450 mark by the time of getting all bowled out. If not, maybe even higher. I think Ponting's just saying about, was that Cummins hitting Jasprit Bumrah for 4 or 5 sixes in an over. That would be quite impressive. England will not win this game, says Horonius. It's going to be a struggle for them. They, I think, declared just a little bit too early. And all good, Hamish. I know I can trust you with me wife. Big Ben driving me nuts. Jesus, please no. I'm still tempted to try and heat up that one that was sitting in the freezer for ages, but I feel like it wouldn't be a good idea. I think it's steak and cheese, maybe. Which I have to say is one of my more favourite types of pie. I used to be a mince guy and I wouldn't get anything but mince, but then one day I had a steak pie and then I just realised that steak can be so much better than mince if you've got a good pie. Nicely played by Khawaja. And first time I've been here, who is the other lad? Says Horonius. I assume we are talking in terms of the Kiwi lads. So there is 4 of us. There is myself. There is George, who's on the channel the most out of any of the other guys. He's been on more rugby live streams than cricket. Then you've got Isaac, who's the third fella. He also does a little bit of music producing and whatnot. But he's been on the channel slightly less, but he is still on videos every once in a while. And then there's Daniel, who I did go fishing with today alongside my dad. And he's on the channel the least, but in a couple of the upcoming videos, he may end up making a little bit of an appearance. Once when I went to the supermarket, there was this cricket game across the road from the supermarket. As I went in, the bowler bowled a no ball. When I came out 30 minutes later, that over was not over yet. He was bowling yet more no balls. You sure it wasn't a different over? Because if there was a cricket game across the road, I guess, did you see the scoreboard from that distance, maybe? Assume it wasn't a very heavy trafficked road. Also, Peter Waller says Mysterion. Have I got a picture of more than just one of us? No. Doesn't look like it. Where did Guppy play his first ODI? Cricket pitch. Good guess. Khawaja now back on strike. Nicely played again by Khawaja. The bowling of Robinson, who is actually going with that angle that I mentioned that they should be bowling to Khawaja, getting it to go across him rather than into him. So Moeen Ali, is he going to be all right to continue on the field? They probably just took him off the field to then spray his finger so that it wasn't in the public eye and then get him back out there. Strategic. 25 for Cummins. He's halfway to the century. They're just showing there. Looks like an almighty blister on the index finger. And he's been not too bad in terms of his economy rate. Hasn't gone for a huge amount of runs. In fact, I think the only one who's really gone for a decent amount is possibly Moeen Ali. I think everyone else other than that has gone relatively well. From what I read, he could spray it, or from what I read, he could spray it as long as he got permission first. So I assume he didn't get permission first in that case, because they were talking about something about how does he have to give up his 25% of his match fee or something like that because of doing it. I think I heard the commentator say a bit earlier on. A couple field changes here for England. Looks like they are bringing a man in close on that cover side, almost like a bit of a close-in point kind of region. That's a better ball, getting it to go across the body of Khawaja. Correct 25% forfeit, says Horonis. Also, one of his teammates said, come on, how much longer is this over going to take? Says MTRC. And you are sure it was the same over and not a different one? Because, old mate, it depends as well what you went in the supermarket for. So I know when I was in Christchurch, I went into the supermarket for a banana and a mango. That was all I got. So that could be quite a quick trip. You know? Whereas if you're looking around a little bit more, you're looking at, the bacon, or you're looking at the biscuits. Takes you a little bit longer. I'll probably end up going grocery shopping tomorrow. Find some stuff. I'll probably end up coming home with a pie, to be honest. be a good idea, I think. Do Big Ben do family size pies or just normal size pies? Going to cross him again there. He said 30-minute shop, says Heronius. Did he say it was 30-minute shop? Oh yeah, 30 minutes later. So yeah, no, he didn't just go in for a banana and a mango. And if he did, boy, was he looking at those bananas hard. Into the over 360 years, 7 for 6. It's gone a little bit quiet here. They got the early wicket of Alex Carey. Now it just seems like Australia's starting to find their momentum again. This partnership has been very good. Sitting in about maybe 40 runs scored between the two of them. That weather looks not the greatest in the background. The dashes, they've called it. The double ashes for the women in the men. And maybe MTRC likes to look at bananas. Maybe. And we can't judge him for that, can we? You know, he just have a real good look. Oh, it's at the stumps. Normal pie, says Mysterion. The good news is, in 45 minutes, I get to find out. This sounds like such a sad little thing, but each week, right, after 12, you find out what the new sales are at the supermarket. And I always end up like buying the randomest stuff that I don't normally get, but because it's on sale, I'm like, oh, I haven't had that in like 5 years. I might as well get it and eat it. So I hope pies are on special next week, because if they are, I'll be a very happy boy. So I haven't had a pie in like this year, I don't think. And also we have got the South African captain died in the 90s plane crash. Very good. Got done for, says Relax and Kiwis. Max, tell you what, you guys are just straight into it, aren't you? You guys seem to know your stuff. And the thing is, if you were Googling, it's not taking you very long to Google it. And Usman Khawaja single-handedly dismantling Bazball. I'm loving it, says the Radio Baba. Done pretty well here, Usman Khawaja. Got through the hard spells. And there'll still be more to come. But for Usman Khawaja, if he can get to that 150, I have a feeling that he may start to speed up after that point. Try and race his way towards that 200 so that he doesn't run out of time. Although time at the moment doesn't seem to be too much of a problem in this test match. Yes, they are losing overs each and every single day. That just seems to be how test match cricket is. It's only getting through like 85 overs in a day rather than the 90. Baseball is easy. We have pitches like runways, says Erroneous. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if you're referring to this pitch or when they were playing in Pakistan, when they were smacking it around the turf all over the place. But this one, there's a bit of variable bounce. We've also seen Moeen Ali get a nice bit of turn and bounce off the surface. But the problem is he's injured, so he hasn't really been able to sort out, I guess, a long enough spell to get that breakthrough, which is why they're looking at someone like a Joe Root maybe in the near future to have a bit of a crack. Still got 40 minutes remaining in this session. Did they? Well, they did get through all 90 overs yesterday, says Aronis. They did not the day before, though, did they? They were relatively slow in that regard, sadly. But that's just one of those ones that, unfortunately, I mean, either they never used to have the problem of getting through overs. That's the interesting part. We've seen more test matches recently. Look at Australia versus India World Test Championship. In the first session of that test match, we had 23 overs bowled when they normally aim for the 30. So it's, you definitely don't want a test match to go down to only a couple overs short. The correct day one was 82 overs, says Aronius. Oh, short ball there, just misses the elbow of Cummins. Yeah, you don't want a test match that a side needs like 5 runs to win and then it's called as a draw because they run out of time. It was a little bit what happened with New Zealand and Pakistan, I believe it was. When they were playing Pakistan, I think that was the one anyway. At 82. Oh no, I read that one. And I'm back, says Amelia. Welcome back. Australia just ticking towards that 400 mark, trailing by 26 currently. Two balls remaining of the Stewart brought over. Oh, that's an awkward one for Pat Cummins. He's done well to be able to keep it down because it was certainly not a controlled shot from the skipper. That gets a round of applause there from the crowd. They're liking Stuart Broad's work here. Just swats it away. He's actually done very well to get the bat on that one, Pat Cummins. Does that change the field a little bit? Do they keep it the same? He was having a bit of a chat with Ollie Pope there, saying that was close. Well, but Cummins, still this extra 25 on the board, been very handy. Caught Shane Warne out on 99. He's relaxing. Kiwi looks like we've got another helmet being run out onto the field. Is it going to be Ben Stokes? It looks like it. Ben Stokes is going to put himself under the lid and get in close to the action. Decided if you want something done right, do it yourself. Still been a very aggressive field, though, from England throughout this whole test match, which I do quite enjoy the fact that they are constantly changing up their tactics. They've got the man on the leg side now, short ball. Oh, just wide of Ben Stokes, and it's a brilliantly placed ball by Pat Cummins. They will manage to pick up the two, just not quite enough speed on that one. But into the over, 369 for 6 now. I don't remember, but they were a bastard. He deserved the century. There's Heronius. Stokes with the tongue out. He thought that one was going straight to him. The first ball of him being in close on that side. Still very overcast, which means the ball will probably swing for the Australians later on when they do end up having a bowl. And how much lead Australia gained. So currently they are 24 runs behind. Still got a little bit more to go before they get into the lead. But then once they do have the lead, I would say they'll just bat until they get bowled out, theoretically. Or maybe they'll give England a crack right at the end of the day if they are still batting. I guess it always looks better when you declare rather than getting bowled out. So that might be the tactic. They keep scoring the way that they are. It's been Khawaja, nice cover drive. Well set field, though, for the English. About 6 men on that offside. There's a no ball with Mark Richardson. There's a relaxing Kiwi. They've got a man at, they've got a gully. They've got a short kind of cover point. They've got a point. They've got a cover. And then they've got almost a little bit more of a wider mid-off. And as good as Australia are, they won't be still batting at the end of the day, says Heronius. Yeah, it's either going to be that they declare or they end up bowled out. Onto the leg side, worked by Khawaja. Another single. Now moves up to 140. In a way. So right down in terms of that run rate, though, for Khawaja. Taking his time, making sure he doesn't make any silly mistakes. It's actually a knuckleball there from Ollie Robinson for that one that was worked to the leg side. A lead of 50, vital for Australia. There's Jagannath. Just a little bit too far on the leg side. That ball from Robinson. Robinson changing the angle. Robinson facing off with Pat Cummins, who's sitting on 27 at the moment, and his runs could be crucial for the Australians here. He's going to go round the wicket to Cummins to try and get it to drift right across the front of him, although he's bowling short, so I think that's more for the body kind of thing. Make sure you've got less room for Pat Cummins to be able to sway out of the way. Greetings, handsome Hamish and cricket aliens from freezing Cape Town. Says Reef, welcome in. You are doing very well. I think Australia not chasing 300 in the fourth innings. Says Jagannath. And Australia will bat as long as they can. Although the big thing is, without Moeen Ali as a spin option for the English on the last day, that might hurt them just a tad. Another short ball goes down the leg side from Robinson. That was actually kind of close to a wide. Oh, that's going to be called as a no ball. Too many short balls in the over there from Ollie Robinson. Or unless it was actually a front foot. It might have ended up being a front foot no ball. Khawaja playing very defensive, says Yaganeth. Yeah, he seems like he's slowed down quite a bit ever since Moeen Ali got taken off. And ever since that wicket, he has actually ended up slowing down. But the good news for him is that Cummins has been a little bit more of the aggressor. So he hasn't had to go hugely out there and trying to do big, expansive shots because he's had Cummins at the other end still ticking over at about that 50 strike rate. I've only just tuned in because I have the day off. I had day off first Saturday and Sunday of the year and had to feed my cats, do my gardening. Horrible. See, there's a roof there. Still on strike, 2 balls remaining of this Robinson over. Wouldn't be surprised if it's still a little bit short. Yeah, he goes down the leg side with it though. Cummins doesn't seem like at the moment he's minding this tactic because it's using up balls. England, they're going to be tiring themselves out. As Khawaja's catch drop chance. Says Yakanaf. Yeah, they've had a few drop chances. A missed stumping earlier on in the, I think that was that Travis Head that they missed the stumping on, or was that, no, it might have actually been Alex Carey right when he started his batting. No, sorry, it was Cam Green right at the start of his innings that they missed the stumping. That's how close the Aussies came yesterday to that great score by the Pommies. Oh, that was close to a glove. Nothing on it. That'll be the end of the over. 111 now down, and it is 371 for 6. Session so far, we have seen 17 overs, 60 runs scored by Australia, and just that one wicket falling of Alex Carey, and Green was the misstumping, says Haronias. Yeah, I got there in the end. It took a little while for me brain to kick in. But yeah, Cam Green. Then went on to get himself decent enough total, kind of around where Cummins is at the moment. It's up to 38 Cam Green, so Cummins still, he's getting up there, and I feel like he's got the potential of getting to, I don't want to jinx him, but I feel like he's got the potential to get to that half century at the moment. He hasn't looked too troubled other than the occasional short ball. And Hamish, would you have thought these Aussies would have crept up so near? And they're still going. To be honest, I expected Australia to score around the 400 mark. I felt that the declaration was a little bit too early from the English. And I'm starting to think maybe now that they're realizing that maybe that was the case. And 37, I think, for Green. I think they had 38 just before. But, yeah, still a very good knock from him. But he would have liked to turn it into a 50, and maybe that's what Cummins can do here. He's 10 away from that 37 mark. Add a couple more, and he's ahead of Green. Here comes Stuart Broad. Round the wicket. Continuing with that tactic. Hit down the ground. Khawaja decides against the single taken by Stokes at mid-off. Talking about Usman Khawaja at the moment, looking calm. There's a 33-run partnership between him and Pat Cummins. So I think that's what Ricky Ponting's just saying here. For the partnership, Khawaja's sitting 5 runs off 28 balls. Pat Cummins is sitting 27 off 48 for this partnership. That's a shot, though. And it's been a misfield there, so that will lead to just the single. And also, we look at what happened to my star batsman, Warner. Yeah, he did end up chopping the ball on. Fortunately for him. He did last the first few overs from Stuart Broad, though, which was one bonus for him, but then eventually did end up meeting his maker once again for about the 14th or so time. Was dismissed by Broad. Awkward one there for Jimmy Anderson to try and line up. Relatively low. Apologises to his bowler as well. And Broad and Anderson, they've spent plenty of time bowling together. Sure, they still don't like it when each other misfield. Looks like they've got Ben Stokes. Now they're going to put him back in under the lid on that leg side, which makes me think maybe that is going to be a possible bouncer coming soon. It's free to air here in Oz in HD. Says Relaxing Kiwi. Yeah, it's on 9 now, isn't it? In Australia. And dear, how many runs did he make? And a hurry again, says Ruth. Sadly, not that many, Ruth. I'll just tell you, he didn't quite get off the mark the way he would have liked. Oh, he was sticking the wrong way on it. Yeah, if you want the exact number, I'm just going to very quickly make sure that I've got, it was 9, wasn't it, for Warner? Or did he get double figures? No, he got out on 9 off 27 balls. Got himself 2 boundaries, though. So that's 1 bonus for him. And what part of Aussie you in relaxing, says Haronius? In the Gold Coast. He's relaxing. Gold Coast, very nice. I might actually end up going to the Gold Coast around Christmas time. I think the family want to go away for a trip to the Gold Coast. So, yeah, maybe end up over there. Okay, and perfect. At least you are in Melbourne, says Haronius. And also, dear, not good. I'm in Cape Town, South Africa. There's Ruth. Currently 30 minutes remaining in this session number 1. Now, I will mention, sadly, we are only doing 1 session for today. That is due to having work early tomorrow morning. I probably, if I really wanted to be wide awake tomorrow, I probably shouldn't have done this session, but I wanted to get at least 1 in of the Ashes before popping away. And coming to Perth at Christmas. My uncle lives in Perth, says Ruth. So you live in the Gold Coast. You're going to Perth for Christmas. Wait, no. So I'm in New Zealand. I might be going to the Gold Coast for Christmas. You're in the Gold Coast. You might be going to Perth for Christmas. Hronis is in Perth. Is he coming to New Zealand for Christmas? Because if so, we've made like a full triangle right there. Be the end of the over again for Broad. 372 for 6. Looks like a decent crowd at Edgebaston for day number 3. And October, not Chrissy. It's almost the case, though, isn't it? For our little triangle situation. So now we've got that question. 29 minutes remaining. We will do what we did with the Usman Khawaja. Will he get himself the 150? We will ask again with a different question. Yes or no? Will there be a wicket in the next 29 minutes before the session is over? Will we get to see a bowler get one? And if so, who will the bowler be? We'll try and get more specific. I think it's going to be Joe Root. There we go. That's a bit of a bold prediction. He's not even bowling yet. Also, what part of the long cloud do you live in? Says Horonis. Normally, no one knows the name of my town when I say it. So the easiest way of describing it is if you know where Christchurch is and you know where Dunedin is, pretty much halfway in between both of those along the east coast. That's normally the easiest way of describing it, just because normally when you say the exact place, everyone's like, never heard of it. So yeah, halfway in between Christchurch and Dunedin. Robinson, he could be a decent shout for being able to get a possible wicket here. Oh, not with that ball. Shocking down the leg side. But I'm from Auckland, says relaxing Kiwi. Ever since, or even some cousins in Perth and aunt in Brisbane. Roof. Khawaja, 9 away. What's the town name? Probably been there. Have you heard of a place called Waimate? Maybe. It always seems to be the case that someone knows someone from there normally. Now Khawaja, still on strike. Likes to drop back for that pull shot every once in a while. They haven't really given them the opportunity. Auckland is not a great part of Kiwi land, says Haronis. That's what I've also been told, and I was planning a trip up there relatively soon to go see a couple fellas, but other than going to see a couple guys up there, I don't think there's too much that's highly recommended when in Auckland. I've been all over the South Island, says relaxing Kiwi. Nice. Now Robinson again. Charging in. Oh, that was a great Yorker. So is Green the star batsman at the moment? Or Khawaja definitely looking good. But Cummins at the other end, at the end of the day, it takes 2 to tango. And Cummins has kept their run rate going over while Khawaja has been in that little bit of a dry spell. This was a fantastic ball from Robinson. The Yorker almost just had to chop it away almost there, Khawaja. And Auckland all good. Green is out, but he looked good while he was in. Says Horonius. bit of a field change again here for the English. It seems like they have a lot of men in front of the bat. 6 men all scattered around the bat. No one in the slip corner. Is that to try and... Oh, he's bowled him! What a field change from the English. It has worked, and that is going to be the wicket of Khawaja. He will be disappointed. Fantastic captaincy and fantastic use of tactics from the English. He had 6 men he could see in front of him. So he thought, you know what, I'm going to try and use my feet and try and find the gap. And he ended up with the Yorker trying to slice it round through backward point. A massive wicket, and Robinson has got his man. And Auckland all good, says relaxing Kiwi, and nice England. Why on earth would you go to Kelly unless working there? Says Horonis. Oh, sorry, Calgary. Khawaja, brilliant innings though from him. 141 off 321 balls. But unfortunately for them, I've met the demise. And now, with it being 7 down, how do we see Nathan Lyon approach this one? I feel like England are going to go with a lot of short balls here to both Lyon and Pat Cummins. Not just because they're not booing Khawaja, are they? Surely not, as he makes his way off the field on 141. And Australia are to very greatest bounce back in first Ashes Test cricket match against England in England. But England to very shocking decision and declared on the very first day. And Auckland was good. A lot of stuff to do, says relaxing. I think it's just the getting to places that people find very frustrating. Yeah, like, I mean, I could probably find a lot of things to get up to up there in terms of, like, I mean, there's a Sky Tower, isn't there? I haven't actually worked out how long I'd be going for. I wanted to go near the end of June because I was going to go see my boy Nate. And we were going to go eat pies together and I don't know what else. What do you do, Nate, other than eat pies? You like golfing? You want to go? Would you go to a driving range, or are you more of a go-kart guy, or what else is there to do? Mini golf, the casino. I said a long time ago there will be 40 or 50 run lead. Design of the city is not a highlight. Says Rodriguez, and yeah, big mistake by English to declare. Look at the score now. Was he doing great? Right, Nathan Lyon. He's got an average of 12.7, but he's a fantastic batsman when he gets going. He is quite a straight bat. Normally just trains his batting with a tennis ball and his brother. And Australia lost 7 wicket. Khawaja bowled out, says Naveen, and terrible traffic, says Harona. So it's all right if you either get a good spell of traffic or you already are close enough to your destination that you can just walk. But even then, you've got to wait quite a bit as they get in places. But casino, let's go, says Nate. Although if you're going to be willing to send me a gaming PC, I have no idea how willing you'd be. Like, I'd have no idea how much money you put down at a table at a casino. I feel like it would be a lot more than a gaming PC. Oh, the Yorker there. Goes down the leg side. It seems like Robinson's now found a little bit of a second wind, but that could be... I mean, Khawaja's situation here was just he wasn't able to get those runs ticking over, unfortunately, and he slowly got more and more stuck. So when he saw the field change, he thought, oh, this is my opportunity to try and pierce a gap. And that gap just wasn't quite there to pierce because he got served a brilliant Yorker from Ollie Robinson. And played mini golf at High Voltage Entertainment in Perth. Says Kiwi Gamer. Australia team needs 21 more runs. To England, short ball. Oh, Nathan Lyon takes it a little bit on the back there. Up hitting it into himself. We did expect a few short balls, but that is going to be the end of a fantastic over from Ollie Robinson. 113 overs, now down 372 for 7, and still 22 more minutes for the English to try and get themselves another wicket here. They are just showing Robinson to Khawaja the field that they had set. And Slot Machine, good for me. And morning roof. There's Blues Nate. Yeah, he tried to chop that one away. Didn't get it right. England needs to early 3 wickets too, says Naveen. Yeah, if they can get these next 3 wickets, I mean, this is very optimistic, but if they can get the next 3 wickets within the next 20 minutes, that'll be absolutely massive for them. If they are unable to do so for that, They can get them within the next 15 minutes. That was nice of Joe Root as well. See there, the whole English side was celebrating. Stuart Broad was getting a little bit in Usman Khawaja's face, and Joe Root went over to him, congratulated him for the way that he played nicely. Tapped there by Cummins. That is a classy shot, and that has been timed almost to perfection, but Jimmy Anderson, the outfield, just a little bit too far there. They do manage to get the 2 runs. Cummins moves up to 29 now. Don't like slot machine, says Hironius. They also just need Aussie's tailwind batsman to whack another 90 runs, Hamish says Roof. I mean, any run from here will be very handy for the Australians. They first of all need those 19, but then if they can get out of this, like someone mentioned earlier on, get a lead of about 40 to 50 runs, it'd be massive for them. Cummins on strike again. Broad would love nothing more to knock over the Aussie skipper, and that was a little bit of a cheeky bouncer there. Almost ended up bumping towards Ben Stokes in close. And if you want mini golf in Perth, there's a very good 3D painted one in Freo. There's Hernius. Perth is somewhere I haven't been before, but I'd like to. I think I've only been to Perth. Through the airport, I believe. I don't think I've been there actually stepping outside of the airport. Which I mean, depending on what time of the year it is, it's probably pretty hot. But it looks like a place I'd love to go. There was a short ball there again from Stuart Broad, the low duck from Pat Cummins. I believe this will be the tactic that England use for the rest of this innings. Will be the occasional short ball, and then also that pitched up delivery. Robinson was doing it beautifully. Bowl the Yorker every once in a while after bowling a couple short. Try and throw the batsman off big time. Stuart Broad again. Oh, short ball. That's hit him. I think, has it hit him in the rib or has it hit him on the chest pad? I think it was just above it. We're at least 10 plus degrees here than where you are, says Hironius. Yeah, so at the moment for me, it's 9 degrees Celsius. So I assume you guys are sitting at least 19 at the moment. It's too damn damp and cold wind to enjoy anything. Feels like Siberia here, says Ruth. Well, we got quite lucky because when we went fishing earlier on, yeah, that's hit him in the nipple. The best way of describing it. And they will try and rough up the Aussie batsman a little bit here. Although they do have to expect it back. That is one big thing here, Stuart Broad. He will know that he's going to get his fair share of bounces. Nicely worked to the leg side by Pat Cummins for one again. We're heading there. There was a thunderstorm. We are going to go on the wheel. Says Kiwi Gamer. Oh, that's a no ball from Stuart Broad. Just trying a little bit too hard there. That means now that Australia will be trailing by the 17 runs. In fact, that will go down to 16 now. Sorry to hear, Nate. Get her a nice big chocolate and some champagne she'll enjoy. And then, yeah, no, my wife been an egg since Friday. At least you've got a wife, though, Nate. You're one up on me. I think it was actually while you were away, I said that I should have you as my wingman since you must be doing something right. Short ball, Lion went after it. It's pulled away. It is going to be short, but he was willing to take it on, which is what they've got to do here. Can't be afraid to go for it if it is there. And break a finger broad, says Hironius. Also, Lionel Cummins at the end, another 100, says Roof. And thank you, will do, Roof. Here's Blues Nate. Into this stage now, 17 minutes away from the end of the session. Everyone starts to plan out what they are going to have for lunch. For myself, I think I'm going to have some chips. That's probably about it, really. Some hot chips. And could be a wanker. Say something about big chocolate, but I won't, says Fluffy. Very mature of you, Fluffy, to hold that one in. Orca that time from Broad. Nicely played by Cummins again, though, to chop it out, and that is the end of another over. 377 for 7 here. A lot of sevens involved. Ollie Robinson will continue from the other side. Wait, what I missed, boss? Chloe looking at me laughing. Says Blues Nate. Yeah, I said that you could be my wingman. seeing as like you have found yourself a wife, which is well done. Congratulations to you. But I have not. I'm still a young pup who doesn't leave his lounge because he does live streams at random hours. So I wouldn't say that that's really something you should put in your Tinder bio. I don't actually have Tinder though. Why was chocolate comment removed? I assume it was Fluffy who removed it by himself. I'll help you with a new Kit Kat Milky Bar, says Blues Nate. Brody, a superb bowler at the deaf. Oh, sorry, Brody, superb bowler at the deaf. Hey, he gets magic, says Roof. Al Robinson picked up his first wicket, and it was a massive one of Usman Khawaja. 15 minutes to go. I would say that they should be able to get that 16 runs. Definitely if they play aggressive. They've got 3 men in the deep on the leg side. Also a man at kind of like a deep forwards third man, I guess you call it. Short ball there. Nathan Lyon hit into the body. Just looks at the bowler like, really, this is what we're doing? It's one of the tactics that England have had to use to try and get these tailwinders out. The funny thing is sometimes it's just the pitched up ball that gets the tailwinder, isn't it? Rather than the bouncer. You can try and bowl the bouncers all you want, try and soften them up, but at the end of the day, those stumps can go flying if you get it right. Nathan Lyon looking determined here. Robinson once again steaming in. Getting it in short. Nathan Lyon tried it. I think he's been out in the back with that ball for a second time in this innings. Didn't quite get it where he wanted to. Yeah, Pat Cummins will be watching this. Scotty Boland will be watching this. And he's a humble guy, Scotty Boland. But when he sees... I'm not sure what Nathan Lyon just said there. But... Oh, no, he did get it right off the toe end of the bat. That is good news for him rather than hitting him in the spine. But, yeah, I think that pretty much Nathan Lyon gets been it, out to duck it. It's going to be the catch, and they buy the wicket of Nathan Lyon, who's disappointed with this dismissal. But that is another one now. They are 8 down. I'll say, oh, good boss. As you want me to do, get this PC thing happening, make it happen, says Blues Nate. I'm surprised that she's keen, Nate, because then won't you still need a new PC as well? So you'd have to buy a 2-for-1. And Nathan Lyon hit this one well, but just ends up picking the fielder out in the deep end ducket. No worries, Hamish and George also like their chocolate milkshakes with extra cream and chocolate chip cookies like me. And it is the bomb. Better than David Warner batting, I see. And now, with 13 minutes remaining, Australia now find themselves 8 down. Scott Boland will make his way out to the middle here. Robinson, effective short bowling. I am curious to see how Australia fire back from this, though. Because I wouldn't be thinking that the English tail water are getting too many pitched up deliveries when it's their turn at the crease. But then that is just one of those ones that sometimes tactics meet tactics. I don't know how many short balls Aussie bowled to England. Did they bowl them a few? I didn't actually get to see that last session when they did lose most of their wickets there, England. But I think they lost about 3 or 4 in a row, didn't they? Where's old Jimmy Anderson? He's still about. He's not really known for his short bowling, though, which is why they have gone with Robinson. Or Robinson, sorry, I should say, rather than Robert. And then also Stuart Broad. Now, Scotty Boland, he will be taking centre. And they'll be looking at his fingers going, we want to try and take it out and probably put a hammy somewhere. Says Horonis. That's like me. As soon as I start playing cricket, I do one run and my groin like pops out of place. And then it's nowhere near as effective, unfortunately. Although it was better than when I played in a T20 not too long ago. We were filming it for the channel and I ended up bending my finger the wrong way. So I either dislocated or broken it. From how long it took to heal, I would say I probably broke it. Oh, what a Yorker. That is well played by Scotty Boland there. But yeah, it's better now. Like it still moves. It took about maybe 6 weeks or so before it started having a bit less problems. No more quickens, England, says Horonis. And one more wicket, England, says Blues Nate there. No, to be honest, we good with the PC. The one PC, no one's using it, says Blues Nate. Oh, short ball there. And the wire fluffy, says Blues Nate. And Jimmy is another workhorse bowler. Great guy, says Roof. Right, one ball remaining. Scotty bowling at one end, Pat Cummins at the other. And how aggressive do we see Cummins now becoming? Looks like, are they changing it? They actually want to give it one ball round the wicket. Someone's booing. I think someone might have lost their beach ball at the ground again. Ben Stokes looking around, trying to find why everyone's booing. Making a little bit of a change in the field here. Robinson going around the wicket. Are you there, Fluff, Fluff? And you Puff, Puff? Oh, yep, short ball. Ducks under it there, Boland. That'll be the end of the over. 377 for 8. So I believe that one was a wicket maiden for Ollie Robinson. Doing a lot better with that one. And come on, Aussies, hit another 3 sixes out of the ground, says Roof, and that would give them the lead. Nathan Lyon, he went after the short ball to try and hit it in the air, though. I think that was the main problem for him. And Duckett takes it nicely. He was out in the deep. And, well, we can start with 3 sixes, says Hronis. Right, they've got 3 men deep on the lee side. They're going to continue with the short stuff, I would be thinking. And Wasabi Milky Bar Kid, says Fluffy. So Boland, Cummins at the crease at the moment, and then they've got Hazelwood just around the corner. If they do lose another wicket before the lunch break, they are 9 minutes away. So there is still time strategically. Theoretically, there's the man with the soccer ball that was inflated that they were throwing around. Cummins, beautiful pull shot there. Gets it away for 1. They do end up taking it, Scotty Boland. Strategic run there. They couldn't afford to not take on any runs available at this point. I want to see my magic make you disappear, says Blues Nate. I feel like that's something that I don't want to hear if you're sending a PC to my address, because then, you know, although to be fair, you're just as likely to show up and say, hello, down, we go for a pie. We got a decent pie down at the local bakery. They kind of do like a roast beef, kind of like a pulled beef type thing. You know how pulled pork's all kind of separated? A little bit like that. Pulled beef. You know? And go back to Ricky Ponting. Here's Ruth. Right, 2 men in close. Ben Duckett still out in the deep. Do you eat anything but pies? The funny thing is I haven't eaten a pie this whole year. I've just talked about eating a pie. Just never actually do. Like tonight I made some chicken tender wrap things. Like cheese, bacon, bit of salad in there. A little bit of onion as well. It wasn't too bad. Had a couple of those. Pakistan, best team in the world, says a neutrino. So in that case, I hope to see them in the World Test Championship next year. Or the year after, or World Cup just around the corner. Tell you what, Pakistan aren't looking like a bad side for the upcoming ODI World Cup. Short ball, another short ball, straight to the man in close. Ollie Pope celebrates. It's going to be the 9th wicket now for the English. Short ball tactics working brilliantly for them at the moment. And let's go England. And let's go England snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Says Veronis. Wait, isn't it the other way around? India's biggest choker, says Neutrino there. It's just those big games, isn't it? Although they did pretty well, to be fair to them. They've made the World Test Championship twice in a row. The World Test Championship final, that is. That is more than New Zealand were able to do. That is more than their opposition Australia were able to do, although the difference is both of those sides were able to win it in the final. And come on, Aussies. Another 4-4, says Roof. Tell you what, she's looking like it's going to be hard to get another 10 runs at this point. Cummins has been starved of the strike. Hazelwood now going to be at one end. And England are going to continue bowling short. If it's working, it's going to be the tactic that they decide to use. Aussie trailing by 15 and it's starting to clean up the tail. We've got 6 minutes until lunch, ladies and gentlemen. So still time, I would say, for maybe one more over after the next, seeing as we're 3 balls through this one. Cummins, I feel like what he's saying is they're just bowling short. We'll get him back in the next innings. I would assume something along the lines of keep the good ball out and just make sure you stay at that other end for me. Josh Hazelwood sitting on 60 matches played so far, 445 runs. He has been able to score. Oh, they've just mentioned that lunch can be extended by half an hour if they do need it. In Stokes, though, it seems like he has a decent enough plan in play. Looking to make the most of it. The crowd are loving it. It's another relatively short ball. Hazelwood will get it off the outside edge towards deep third man, and that will be a single taken by Hazelwood now. Trailing by 14. See, the thing is now, I feel like I should stay for after the lunch break. Even though I think we're going to be starting work at about 8 a.m. tomorrow, which is in 8 hours' time. She's been changing out there on the field, that is for sure. Even if we do like the first 10 overs of the next session or something bad, just because I want to see how England bat early on. I want to see whether or not those openers can help them build towards that decent total. That might end up being the plan. Right, Cummins on 31 runs off 59. Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, home track bully on flat pitches, says Nofreno. Wait, India's got flat pitches. That's one of the rare times I've heard someone say that India's pitches are flat. If anything, they're anything but flat. You know, because of all the spin that you can get them into sub-Mediterranean pitch style. Right, they've got the 3 men in the deep again. Short broad may consider short. I've been in your shoes before. If you stay up, it'll be 4 a.m. before you know. There's Aronis, big shot from Cummins. He's gone after it, gripped the teeth and hit it for 6 there, the skipper. If you want to bowl me some short stuff, I'm going to whack it over the head of your fielders. Nice shot from Cummins. Now, he's got to make the decision, though. Does he continue to play this kind of aggressive style? He was ready to go and just swung through with the new balanced bat. Stuart Broad got excited for half a second until he realised that Cummins had hit him 100 metres. Well and truly got that one away to the boundary. Cummins, perfect shot in this scenario because that is a lot better than leaving it, a lot better than just allowing that one to be possibly work for the single. Does Broad go short again? He sure does. Nicely worked by Cummins down to the man at deep fine leg, so he will retain the strike for the next over. There is still 1 over remaining as well. They did say that they could extend the lunch break maybe by half an hour, though. What happened to that other great young Indian bowler? Can't remember his name. I think it was the same first and last name. Says Ruth. Who are you talking, Ruth? Wouldn't be Bumrah, of course. He's one of the slightly older guys in the team now, but can't think of him. Currently trailing by 7. I think we're going to be very close to completely even here going into the second half of this test match. It's pretty much going to be a set from the English and then a chase from the Aussies. It could be very entertaining. Australia bowled out before lunch. Says young enough. Definitely if they take the extra 30 minutes. Because at the moment they are 9 down. This could be the last over before lunch if they weren't to take that extra 30 minutes. Nah, says Aronis. Aussie being bowled out before lunch. And lots of love to this live broadcast from Indian-controlled Kashmir. Says Neutrino. Robinson. Short ball. That's gone straight up in the air. Should be taken by Ben Stokes. He's taken the catch. And England now, they will have themselves a 7-run lead going into the next stage of this contest. And this over bowled out, says Jagannath. Be nice work there. Australia, they're going to be trailing by 7. They won't mind that too much. So at the end of the day, it's still going to be close. And now it's the case of they just have to chase down what the English are setting. I mean, the short balls were affected. They managed to pick up, was it 3 or 4 wickets off short bowling? So maybe that is something the Aussies might try out. Cummins tried to take it on, but he did just get a little bit high on the bat there. Get another 4 Aussies luck. Here's Ruth. Nicely taken there by Benjamin Stokes. Now, Australia bowled out for 386. So there is a 40-minute lunch break, ladies and gentlemen. And because I am too much of a cricket lover, I'm going to be back in 40 minutes' time. Because what we normally do is we will have the scoreboard up during the half little break that we have got. And then we will be back for 12:40 a.m., 40 minutes' time. We'll be doing the first, I'm going to say 10 overs of England's batting, unless, of course, it keeps on getting more and more intense. And, of course, we'll slightly extend a little bit more. We will go from there. But very good bowling late from Stuart Broad. Oh, the back's cracking. Must have been slouching a little bit there. Yeah, good bowling from Robinson as well near the finish of this contest. Just be prepared to be really tired tomorrow at work, says Eronis. Yeah. Although by now I am getting slightly used to it from doing like weekend live streams. Some weekends we'll end up doing 25 hours of streaming over about a 32-hour period. So I'm used to slightly shorter sleeps at times. We saw 4 of the Australians bowled, though, interestingly enough. Hazelwood at the end, not out, 1 off 1. Scotty Boland, the only player, or other than Labuschagne, to go for the duck. I was going to say Labuschagne's is the golden duck, which you won't be too happy about at all. But nonetheless, what we will be doing is we will be popping away, ladies and gentlemen, coming back at 12:40 a.m. New Zealand time. So what we will quickly do, if we got the right one, we'll go here. There we go. What we want, we will be back. Session 2 at 12:40 New Zealand time. I think Aussie and England best side in the world, followed by Kiwis and Pakistan. There's Neutrino. Lucky 7, good number. Aussies are whacking it, go for everything now. Here's the roof. Yeah, we will be back in about 38 minutes for the next session start, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you all in a short moment. I will have some music playing as well for you guys while I am away. Some music by one of the other Kiwi lads. I mentioned about how there were 4 of us. This music that you're going to be hearing is by the 3rd Kiwi lad that I mentioned, Isaac. Hopefully you do enjoy. Right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another session of this test match. We were originally going to be going to bed at the end of the first session, but the Australians, they were bowled out. And I thought I might as well see a little bit of this English batting before to head to bed. We have got Marco in the chat. I have to agree with the choice of Cameron Sorfoy and Akoi in that All Blacks 15. I feel like they have got themselves quite a bright future, definitely with what we've been able to see from Sorfoy and Justin this season. Proctor and Nankerville over Enoy and McLeod, you go with. I mean, Proctor I thought was pretty unlucky to miss out, although, to be honest, like, Enoy hasn't been too bad this year. I thought he's been not too shabby. But yeah, I would have probably had. I think McLeod was everyone's dark horse, wasn't he? Like, no one was considering him for AB selection, and he got himself in there. Speaking of getting yourself in, exactly what the two English opening batsmen will have to do here. It will be Crawley at one end, Duckett at the other. Not sure how many overs we are going to be covering of this batting performance. Just waiting to see whether or not there were going to be any early wickets. And back Cummins, ball comes back in nicely. Now, last innings, we saw Crawley be quite aggressive. And in that process, managed to get himself a few runs, got himself to 50 at the end of the day, managed around 63, I believe it was. I'm wondering if they'll send Bowden Barrett over there for a game. He doesn't get picked for the All Blacks 23. Japan and no mugs, no more. There's Marco. And I'm curious to know the big difference between Japan and Japan XV, because they have also now got themselves their second side. They can take part for those fixtures. They come in second ball now. He's going to be bowling. The slightly loaded slip cordon. Got the two slips of Warner and Smith. Then in gully it will be Cam Green. 38 runs with the bat. Big thing here for England is they lead by 7. So as long as they can get some sort of total, maybe above that 300 mark, about 350 would be ideal. And the Aussies would have plenty of time to be able to chase it down, maybe around a day and a session, just with how quickly we've seen England scoring their runs. Looks like it's slightly getting darker and dingier in the background. Hopefully there's no rain throughout the day, because that is something that could certainly affect it, but that is going to be hitting the pad. Looks like a run-out chance here. Labuschagne decides against throwing it, so they do rush through for the quick leg by there for the English. We'll know exactly how many runs they feel that they need to be able to take down this Australian side, who did lose quite a few of their wickets in quick succession right near the end of the first session, which is why we are here. Originally, it was going to be we'd cover the first session, and then we were going to be heading to bed. A nice early morning start tomorrow, but I didn't want to miss these first few overs that we see of England's batting. I wanted to see if they'd open with Cummins and Hazelwood again, which I believe that they will, and it's that question of how early do we see Nathan Lyon actually get himself out there on the park with the ball in hand. He did bowl quite a few overs in that first little patch for the Australians. Pat Cummins charging in, trying to get it to go across. Ducker, who has been able to work it to the leg side, will get himself the easy single, and he is now off the mark. Crawley yet to get himself a run. He had that leg by just a little bit earlier on. And the Aussie bowlers, they will remember the bouncing tactics that they have from the English in their last few dismissals. I think we'll see a little bit of that from Pat Cummins and probably Josh Hazelwood, maybe even Scotty Boland. Dan Brower still watching the blank screen thingy. How long you been live, says Marco? About maybe 4 minutes, somewhere around there. It is good to have you, Marco. I went over your choices and whatnot for your. Oh, that's off the outside edge. Why are we looking at the umpire straight away? I think someone hit the wrong camera button. That very good ball from Pat Cummins. I hope you are doing well, Johnny. Excited for the final next week for Chiefs Satyrs. Hopefully you are. Yeah, nicely done by Cam Green. Be able to field that one. Like this. The wrong button. At the moment, the odds relatively even. Do you think Luatua would have been the mainstay six if he never left? I mean, at the moment, that seems to be the hole that the ABs are trying to fill. So, he could have been a very good option for the ABs, and I'm glad to see now that Samoa have picked him up. Same with Lima Sopawanga. I feel like he wasn't going to get too many chances, I don't think, for the ABs. So, it's nice to see he's got a club now that he can play for, or a international team, that is. Drew Luatua says Blues no, but that is the end of the first over. 3 runs off it for England, a little bit slower than they got started in their last first over. I believe they were able to bring up the 6 runs in it, including a nice 4 coming from Crawley off that very first ball. Now Hazelwood, see Ollie Pope all padded up. He will be batting at number 3, Joe Root 4. They can get through a couple of those guys early in this session. Australia would have a lot of confidence going into the last 2 days. If they can somehow have England, I would say 7 or 8 down by the end of today would be massive for them. Same on job front. But money on Josh Hazelwood as man of the match. So it's now on never first bell then bed up at 4:30 a.m. says Hero there. I mean, I'm not quite up there early for myself. I get to sleep until about 7:30, but hopefully he goes all right for you. At the end of the day, he's got the potential to take a lot of wickets, Josh Hazelwood, when he's getting it in the right spot just outside of the off stump. People, there's a man with a couple of ice creams. Get him back to his seat. Now Crawley, ready to face his first ball from Josh Hazelwood. It's a pretty nice one, but it's whiffed off the pads well by Crawley, and he will now get himself off the mark. And Samoa looking better. Same with Tonga. Happy to see the brother Falau there. I love that bloke, says Marco Vunapola. As the pitch started to dry up a tad. We've seen quite a bit of turn and bounce for Moeen Ali. Not a huge amount of variable bounce today, but then there was a little bit of it on day 2, so it's starting to look a little bit, a little bit drier. I think day 5 spinning could be massive, but the problem is, at the moment, the spinner for England, Moeen Ali, has got a very sore finger and doesn't seem like it's quite working the way he'd like it to. Yep, Samoa looking good, says Annoy. Hazelwood now for his second ball, the first one to duck it, relatively straight with it. England are going to play this still relatively aggressive. Izzy got screwed over by Castle and Qantas back then, says Annoy. Looks like there's a little bit of strapping actually on one of the fingers of Ben Duckett. Were they warming finger sleeves? I haven't actually seen those before if that was the case. Jace Ryan confident with his forward pack. Nepalala free to play for Toulouse next season, says Blues. Now, I was glad to see Tamati Williams, though, get in the crack because I feel like he is one that could certainly be a danger if he gets it right. More defensive again from Ben Duckett. And I want to take my family, especially my son, to the footy this weekend, but I'd rather watch on TV so you can actually see what's happening. And I reckon I have the urge to sink a few beers given the atmosphere, says Marco. It's a tricky decision, isn't it? I know that if the Brumbies bet the Chiefs, there were a couple of boys down here who were considering heading up. I know that Daniel was going to be going to the game. We were actually going to buy Isaac a ticket to go to the game as well if it was in Christchurch. We can't quite do that within a Waikato. And yes, Hamish Big T, says Nate. Hazelwood trying to get it to just drift across Duckett. How did he get Duckett in the first innings? Or how did the Aussies get him? It was caught behind, wasn't it, for Duckett? If I'm not wrong. Was it the ball that went across him in the edge? Or am I thinking of the wrong dismissal? Probably 2 balls faced. 2 runs off 6 balls faced. That's normally, I mean, he got off to the mark pretty quickly in the last innings, getting 4 runs off the very first delivery. Anything seems slow from there. A little bit of a loose ball there from Hazelwood. Goes down to the man in the deep, belted by Bolland. And they do manage to go back for the 2 runs as well. Need to be sharp as in the field. As such, I don't want to go to the game. Don't want my kids to watch me get half pissed at the games. I don't drink except at that very rare pub outing. Went to 2 months ago. Moeen docked 25% of the match fee for unapproved use of the spray for the finger. Yeah, that's one of those ones that 25% is actually it's a hefty amount. So you want to make sure you get him permission, but I don't think he wanted to in a way. I think it was, if we can sneak a little bit of a sneaky advantage, we might as well take it. The kids never see me drunk or blazed or anything. Don't want to see me like that, says Marco. That was swinging nicely, but beautifully played off the pads by Duckett. Going to be another 2 runs. Travis Head fields it in the deep. And do you think of the World Cup years? The Rugby Championship should be blocked. AB's Oz 2 tests against each other. And ditch Argentina just for those years? I don't think so. I feel like it wouldn't really make a huge amount of sense to get rid of Argentina for that year. Is it just for the travel side of things, or just because you want to shorten the schedule a little bit or something? Or what's the reason behind ditching Argentina? If anything, I think Argentina will heavily benefit from getting those warm-up games alongside the Rugby Championship fixtures before their World Cup. Nepo should play for Samoa, bolster their forward pack, says Nate, and Hazelwood hit him, says Hero. And there as well. I mean, he did hit him, but you're still not allowed to use the spray that you haven't been allocated or haven't been approved to be able to use. Oh, caught behind Duckett. I'm trying to remember the wicket because we actually covered it, me and Dad. Caught behind. I can't think of the edge or how he went out. It's really bad for me. My brain normally works better. Although, to be fair, I'm heavily sleep deprived and will be tomorrow as well. So that might be why my brain's not quite kicking in. And should we, or so we can see the old school matchups? New Zealand Oz away and at home, says Hanoi. But then, Argentina, they've been a part of the Rugby Championship a little while. So who would they play instead, Hanoi? If you're kicking them out, giving them the boot, just like they did for Super Rugby, who are you letting them play that will give them their preparation? And they're both should GTFO. He's clearly out of his depth. I still remember George Ford's half. His size literally ripped the ball out of Nepo's hands in the 2019 World Cup semi-final. These things haunt me hard, bro, says Marco. And Bazball approach has made red ball cricket more exciting, says Natero. Yeah, Marco, need more of those games. I mean, normally we do get them in the World Cup or outside of the World Cup, yeah. Although one thing as well that we've got is they still play South Africa twice. It's just one of them takes place at Twickenham this year. And the New Zealanders still play the Aussies twice. So the only team that don't play each other twice theoretically is Australia versus South Africa. Because we play, as New Zealand, we play South Africa twice and we play Australia twice, and then they play Argentina once. Good morning, mate. Everyone, happy Father's Day all, says Robert. Yeah, it will be early morning for yourself, won't it? Oh no, my time zones suck. Is it like 6 a.m. or something around there, Robert? Maybe a little bit later. It might actually be 8 or maybe closer to 9 now, with it almost being 1. Good morning, mate. Oh no, I read the one. And they can join the Pacific Championships, Fiji, Samoa, and Tonga. And bro, my son played this game over the weekend. He played outside Waikato Stadium. His team got smoked, but he played decent for once. He got player of the day. Awesome stuff. There's a man dressed as Darth Vader who's being led out of the ground. I wonder what he has done to get kicked out of a ground dressed as Darth Vader. At 8:53 a.m. says Robert. So I was getting close, wasn't I? I was rounding up, I will say, because it's 12:52 a.m. here in the New Zealand region at the moment. Currently, England with a 19-run lead. Wasn't sure how much of this opening session for the English batting we are going to be doing. Probably like the first maybe 6 or so overs, just to get a bit of a feel for it before we pop away for some sleep. See if anyone can pick up those early wickets. Those are the main thing for the Aussies in this scenario. I forgot that Twickenham box game, says Hanoi. It's going to be a tough one because I feel like it's going to be just an injury fest for both sides. My dad's already said that he's predicting 4 injuries combined across the two sides. Where's Obi-Wan? Laser beam, his bum fluff. Says Blues Nate. And at the moment, 56% chance of winning. Australia 39%, and the draw is sitting at 5%. This one. Cummins to the crease. Bangs it in again. Almost pops up a little bit. Also, we've got the white black caps that chokes against Pakistan in knockout games. Says Neutrino, what are we talking? We talking like ODI, T20? Which one? I know that neither side had to worry about the World Test Championship this year, did they? Although the year before, Black Caps, they managed to get themselves through and they won the whole thing. It's the end of the over. 12 for none at the moment. I mean, it's a very broad one, isn't it? Because it's like saying, I guess in a way, why do Pakistan produce pitches that don't create results? You know, and I guess the reasoning is because they don't want to lose. They'd rather draw their home games for those World Test Championship points, and they still don't make it to the final. How popular is cricket compared to rugby in New Zealand, says Timothy? It's going up a little bit. The benefit that you've got when you play cricket and rugby in New Zealand is you can actually play both, or even football. You play football and rugby during the winter, and then you play cricket during the summer. So there's a lot who do play both, but it's relatively up there. Like in terms of like we're from a small town and they've got I think 2 or 3 sides at kind of adultish level. Got 2 of his teams only tries, both involved a 25-meter plus half of the field. We fends off a few kids both times. I'm super proud of him. He's really taking his rugby thing with both hands, says Marco. And I think that will be due to you helping him out in the training department. I feel like that will help him get the confidence to keep on playing well. Pakistan is weaker in test but strong in white ball cricket, says Nasrino there. So you've almost answered your own question. Why Black Caps get beaten by Pakistan in knockout games because Pakistan are strong in white ball cricket. Simple. And Marco, does he follow the league a bit too? Any news on Tonga squad? Tautai still coaching the Tonga. I haven't actually made a Tonga video. Unfortunately, the time that it came out, was it just before, was it on Friday or Saturday? I think it was on one of those 2 days, and I was going to film a video, and then I ran out of time. And I feel like now, I mean, I could probably still film a video for it. It would just be a lot later than when the squad was announced. But they've got Malachi Fekitoa, they've got Israel Folau, Charles Piatel's in there, Via Fafita making his debut. There were a couple other players who have jumped ship as well on the Tongans. And working hard both on and off the ball. Hits his ruck, secures ball, competes for opposition ball. He's been running hard instead of running like a wimp. First, I was thinking if maybe we'll go back to soccer. Says Marco. Fekitoa, says Nate. She had a Freedy, was my favourite Pakistan player, says Ruth. Shot from Crawley. Down the ground, straight to Khawaja. Was just short of that 150 in the first innings. Should be a good session here because it's either going to be England getting a lot of runs in a hurry once again, or it's going to be Australia sneaking 1 or 2 quick wickets. And I feel like the big thing is they need to get Joe Root out early. If they can't manage his wicket, there will be a lot of trouble, and he will be scoring runs freely for a good few sessions. Bit of movement on that ball again, but Crawley works it to the leg side. It's a for 1. Fielded by Marnus. He'll still have plenty of energy in the tank after getting the golden duck in that first innings for the Australians. And Imran Khan, Wazim, Waka were guns. I think Pakistan had a top spinner ages ago, but forgot his name. Says Hanoi. Who are we talking? Yeah, I don't know the real older guys. And, the more recent fellas, like the recent-ish, probably last 5 years, is my knowledge. Hazelwood, round the wicket again. Duckett gets himself another single. Enough, just keeping the strike rotating. One ball left to the Hazelwood over. He's gone for 10 at the moment. And spinner, Asid Ajmal, I think. And right. So who's going to be the first batsman bowled here, says Roof. I mean, to be honest, they're both looking pretty solid. Crawley's been a little bit slower getting started than he was in the first innings. So, I mean, if you had to guess if one of them was going to be bowled, I'd probably go with him. But chances don't seem too likely just at this stage of the contest. Maybe a little bit further in the future, left alone outside off stump. That'll be the end of the over. 17 for none. We watch league together as to learn more rugby ball running moves, techniques. Only played 5 games of rugby this far. Next year, I'm going to sign him up to both rugby and league, says Marco. And 0 runs was not much of a lead, says Roof. No, which is why they need an important partnership here. It's looking like it's getting a little bit more dark and dingy at Edgebaston, hopefully. There's no rain. I know Steve Smith was looking straight up. And Stokes and Baz, wonderful Englishman, says Timothy. Already 1 extra. That was off the league bio, Crawley. Come on, Cummins, do something. And was it Ahmed Mustaq? Mustaq Ahmed, I think from the 90s. I'm going to quickly look at Edgebaston's weather. Just because it doesn't look great. Edgebaston. Where's the forecast? We'll go Edgebaston weather. It's 23 and sun, apparently. Although it looks a little bit different. I'm not seeing too much sun out there at the moment. Which game is famous in New Zealand, cricket or rugby? Both to a certain extent, but rugby, I'd say, for a long time was probably the more favoured of the two. And it's still pretty even overall in terms of, I think, the numbers playing. Maybe a little bit more in favour of cricket now. Australia still with the new ball. Need to try and get this one moving a little bit. Pushing it, that one, Ben Duckett. Trying to take the movement out of the ball. On 11 off 12 as well. Looks like Alex Carey. He's getting his eye checked out here by Steve Smith. Trying to see if there was something in the eyeball. Not really what you want as a wicketkeeper, to not be able to see the ball clearly. Having a few jokes behind the stumps as well, by the looks of it, which is good because at the end of the day, England have showed that being relaxed in the field. Oh, tell you what, he's had to chop that out, Ben Duckett. It was very close to him. He was born in the late 90s. Could not remember. Said Neutrino there. On seamed back in just a little bit more. Almost chopping that one onto the stumps there, Ben Duckett. Smile on his face. A few of the Aussie squad looking on. Ness is there. Murphy as well. Guys who might get the opportunity later on in this test series. Work to the leg side. Almost uppish that time from Ben Duckett. Just not quite striking it as cleanly in this over as he was in the last. With that lead of 24. I would say, not sure how many overs we're going to do. We're sitting at 1:02 a.m. at the moment here. I have to be up and going to work at 8 a.m. when I'll be leaving. So she is not exactly a long time till morning. But I think I want to see maybe another 5 or so overs. Just to learn. Cut off by Labuschagne again, but this rotationist strike for Duckett. And I won't be going to work tomorrow. I'll stay up on here. I'll with you, brother, late night sheesh. I'll bump some cones, keep me awake. Well, maybe don't do that yet, Marco, because the original plan for me was going to be to go at 12. But I probably won't be here any later than 1:30. Unfortunately, that does mean that you will have to go to work tomorrow. But if it makes you feel better, I will be going to work as well, so we can go to work together. Nathan Lyon looks like he's already getting close to being called into the attack, and we are still extremely early in this innings, but it looked like a bit of a spinner's pitch when Moeen Ali was about earlier on. It is just a shame about his finger injury. Has stopped him from being able to bowl as many overs for England. Solid again from Crawley. Some of us are at work now, says Grant. That is true. Depending on whereabouts you guys are in the world, does this kind of count? It doesn't really count as work for me, I don't think, because it's kind of like in a way, it's almost an unpaid internship. Seeing as all profits go straight back into the channel, I guess I'm just a volunteer, some would say. Grant, not me for a change. I'm off first weekend in the year, says Ruth. Now, Pat Cummins, nice straight ball, but well played by Crawley again. End of the over, 18 for none off the 5 overs so far. So, the question is it going to be Lyon now, or is it going to be Lyon just a little bit later? Nope, no work, mate, too late. I don't function well if I have less than 6 hours sleep, as I'll get up when the kids are up, says Marco. Is it supposed to be rainy up that way? I know that every single final game, whether that's quarters, semis, or anything, seems to have rain at the moment up in the Waikato. Looks like Alex Carey is getting a little bit more attention for that eyeball. Trying to wipe away whatever was in there. Looks like now he's looking for the helmet, and that is because Nathan Lyon coming into the attack. Make if he does both, he'll improve. If when Darwin Heaps, the local kids played 2 or 3 sports, we played against NT schoolboys up there. The next day, some of them played AFL or league in local comps, says Hanoi. I guess it's just trying to find a way of not having them all overlap, isn't it? As long as trainings are on a different day, or as long as you're balancing it out so that you go to one training one week, one to the other, and as long as your team aren't getting annoyed with you being committed to other things, then it works out not too badly. Who's going to win this match? I'm an American and don't understand cricket, but want to put a bet on who will win. Tell you what, I'm a Kiwi who doesn't understand cricket, beefy bets, so I wouldn't recommend listening to a word I say. I know that the Ashes is one of those ones where one wicket can change everything. And at the moment, it's still very early, so it's hard to tell exactly who's going to have the momentum because next session's just around the corner. We could see 7 wickets falling, or we could see 130 runs scored by the Englishman. Duckett could get a century. There are a lot of things that could end up happening that could change the outcome of this one. Aussies are going to win, says Ruth. And yes, bad rain. That's why the stadium wasn't packed. I mean, he wants to go out with the family at 7 p.m. on a dark, cold Waikato winter's night. Not me, rather stay home and watch on the telly, says Marco. And I feel like that is where it's going to slightly hurt them a bit in the final if there is rain around. Thanks, buddy. Cheers, says Beefy Bets. Yeah, I would say that if it's nice weather for FMG Stadium, they're going to sell it out. I'd like to think so anyway. But the problem is if it's raining and there's empty seats for a final, straight away you hear the ones in the Northern Hemisphere saying Super Rugby's dead. No one's watching it because they can't fill up a stadium. But then, yeah, I think in New Zealand, a lot more people are likely to get tickets on the day, depending on the weather. Now, if you're in an indoor stadium, they don't really mind too much. Put a few dollars on the guys in white, says Grant. Be a good call. Releasing on 5 off 15. I got 13 off 16, so a little bit more of a aggressor. I better go to bed after a few overs, 6 or 5 hours sleep, says Nate. Yeah. I get drawn into the test cricket and then I just end up continuing to watch it. And then I kind of keep watching it afterwards. It's going to be nicely worked away by Crawley, the league side. See, I might even end up having a snack after this, which would then keep me up for, I guess, a little bit longer. So ideally, I mean, it's probably going to be about a 2 a.m. bedtime, somewhere around there, which wouldn't be too bad. We'll be back for the Ashes tomorrow night as well, I should mention. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. I don't think we've got any surprise rugby games that we've got to think about. I think it is just the Ashes tomorrow night. Trying the ramp shot there, Ben Duckett. A little bit sneaky to Nathan Lyon. Does get it away to the boundary, and he is now sitting 17 balls faced and 17 runs on the board. Seems like England starting off relatively similar to how they did in their last innings. I will mention, though, with Duckett, got a few more runs that he did get last time, although they're about that same amount of runs as they had when they did lose that first wicket. It was around that 22-24 mark. 3 balls remaining in this over. Can Nathan Lyon get one right? Speaking of rain, it does a raining blizzard help the Chiefs or the Satyrs? I would say, to be honest, you'd think the Chiefs were used to it by now, but I think it would probably help the Crusaders a little bit, because we've seen the Chiefs play 2 games up against Aussie sides in the rain, and they haven't looked that comfortable. That is due to the opposition level that they are playing, but also due to just not being able to play their natural game. And I think the Crusaders, they seem to play better in wet conditions than most other sides in the comp. And Irish is a super uber fabulous rocket in commentating. There go, Kiwi lads. Says Roof. Good night, Nate, brother. Have a good one, mate. Legend. Says Marco here as well. One ball left to the line over. Nicely played again, and behind it for Duckett, fielded at short cover, into the over. They are still going at 4 runs per over here for the English. Made that change of Nathan Lyon. I don't think they'll switch it at the other end. What kind of snacks is annoying? Well, I'm not actually sure what I've got out there at this stage. Whether or not I cook up maybe some hot chips. That's a well-known snack on the channel. There might be some beef in the fridge, possibly. I cooked up a couple of steaks the other day, so I think there's still one of those there. So is a steak a snack that you should have before bed? Probably not. Doesn't really feel like a before bed snack. Cheese and crackers, not a bad idea, maybe. Haven't quite worked out what it's going to be yet. Something simple, probably just bananas normally wake you up a bit, don't they? It's probably not a banana. Have that in the morning for breakfast. Eddie Cummins bangs it into the surface. Oh, Alice Carey likes it. I heard a noise, yes, says Cam Green in the gully region. How desperate are they? I think there was a gap, says Pat Cummins. And a steak is only a bedtime snack? Nah, they didn't go upstairs for it. If you're South African, says Grant. We do wrestling sessions too on the mattress. Put on the lounge and break down ruck stuff. Tackle bag is the boxing bag. I brought like 10 cheap Kmart balls. Bombard them with the high ones. Says Marco, next month, swap shift work AM. Be good. Was there at all? No. Nothing at all there. For the outside edge. I didn't hear anything, says Steve Smith, who was asking around. Be good for Rugby World Cup 2023, just like old time, says Nate. Now Cummins into the crease again, whipped off the pads well by Crawley, who's timing it nicely, but fielded in the deep by Josh Hazelwood. I think what we're going to do is we are going to say if the next over of Nathan Lyon doesn't pick up a wicket, we will then go to bed. Seeing as it's 1:12 a.m. here in New Zealand and I do have to start work early tomorrow. But we will be back for hopefully more than one session tomorrow night on day 4. If it works out nicely for us. And shame, folks, one of our Bok greats from yesteryear, Darrod Hogarth, is in ICU fighting for his life. 50-50 chance. Well wishes to him. Says Russo, that's no good. Good night, Marco. Says Nate. Well, nice to play. I should mention that if Pat Cummins picks up a wicket now, we would also have to have a little look. Tea and Bickies, says Annoy, as an option for a late night snack. Nice little roll of the seam there. Getting Duckett slightly pushing away from him. Normally gets you in a bit of trouble in a test match. 3 balls left of this Cummins over. Ooh, I got all excited there, but I thought that it made the noise of the bails, but it was actually the noise of his helmet that he had hit it into. You have to explain the shame, I think, to our non-Safa friends here, says Grant. Then was Steve Smith here. I don't know who he was asking there. I think he was trying to get maybe a bat pad in. Even though Pat Cummins should theoretically be the captain making the decisions. Oh, whipped up the pads again by Duckett. He's looking in decent nick at the moment. That'll be off the second last ball of Pat Cummins over. Now Crawley, one more ball to face. Then we have got 6 balls. If there is a wicket, we will stay until the 10 over mark. If there is not a wicket, we will have to go to bed after, of course, having a snack and whatnot. What is that? Uh-oh. Are those the covers? Oh, it's raining. That's interesting. It's ended up raining, and it's as if England is trying to tell me, have a snooze. Oh, Zach Crawley now saying someone's moving behind the sight screen. Yeah, it is now pouring in England. So this might actually end up being maybe a rain delay. I looked at the weather forecast about 15 minutes ago, and it said it was sunny, it was fine. No worries at all. Everyone is now just sticking their jackets on. Oh, they're going off the field, ladies and gentlemen. So it's as if they've chosen for me that is going to be the end of the Kiwi Lads commentary for this one. Even if it's a small shower, doesn't seem like it's much of a shower. Pat Cummins wanted one last ball so that he could finish out his over. And Ray knows there's annoy. High balls is to improve the catching kicks or his catching kicks, etc. Passing into the green bin for accuracy. Heaps of practice. All rugby, different parts of the game. And it's really showing dividends. Man, says Marco. Well, he must be a good coach. He's improving, but those are some big covers going on there. Night, night, don't let the vampires bite. But yeah, sadly, due to the rain, it means that we have got the delay in this game. And that does mean for a Kiwi like me, sadly, there's a chance that they could be off for about an hour. They could be off for 30 minutes, could be off for 10 minutes. It's hard to tell. So that is where we are going to be calling it for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Weatherman is usually full of doo-doo. Anyways, I've seen the spraying the clouds again on Friday. Come the weekend, it is raining. There's Marco there. Nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Like I mentioned, I will be back tomorrow for some more test commentary for day 4. We will give you a summary of what's happened on day 3. Everything along those lines. And Chloe said good night, Hamish, and I'll see you tomorrow. Says Blues Nate. So it was nice to meet you, Chloe. And also, I already know you, Nate, but hopefully you do have a good day as well. How much is a steak in a South African supermarket, says Hanoi. Derek has inflammation of the lungs and went into a coma with some bad infection, says Ruth. And cheers, brother Hamish, says Marco. And they're a night close, says Marco. There as well. But 26 for none is where England will end up finishing at the moment due to the rain delay. Talking to Ricky Ponting at the moment. But yeah, nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, like I mentioned, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Forget steak, buddy, it's overrated. Get some lamb chops instead, says Ruth. There as well. I feel bad because I feel like everyone's just having a bit of a chat in the comments and I'm about to cut it off. And South Africa steak sounds like it is pumped full of the secret juice. Says Marco there. Secret juice is annoying. India. Also, but I am sorry to end the chat. Although, actually, to be fair, anyone who wants to keep on chatting on this live stream, after the live stream is finished, the live chat feature does still work. As long as you guys don't take like you don't close the tab or anything like that. So you guys can actually still continue chatting about South African stakes and whatnot while I have disappeared, just so that you do know. And Skrellich says Grant, and Paulo Costa Juice says, oh, geez, that's the good stuff, isn't it? Oh, mate, looks like he's well and truly on it. It's just full of iron. It's the grass they eat in South Africa. His roof, and yeah, it is heavily pouring down at the moment at the ground. So relatively heavy shower. Hopefully nothing too long, and they do get plenty more cricketing action in today. But thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all tomorrow for the next one.